presidential election, and I am definitely rooting her. With Call It Out Odisha, we are here to engage with key stakeholders to empower both women and men to fight back against harassment and work towards giving women a level playing field. We have a short film which captures what News18 Network and Truecaller are striving to achieve through our campaign, Call It Out Because It's Not Okay. Let's have a look.
Harassment is a grim reality that impacts a large majority of women in India today. And with the digital age, new forms of harassment are cropping up each day, affecting the well-being of women in all aspects, especially their mental health. As a nation, we need to come together to put an end to this. And that's what Call It Out Because It's Not Okay, an initiative by News18 Network and Truecaller, aims to do. With this initiative, we are encouraging women to not only block harassers, but also to speak up and call out incidents of harassment by reporting them to the right authorities. While this is a long and tough battle to fight, our vision is to bring a change in the way that India views and takes action against harassment. To educate women of the resources available for them to report harassment, and to get our message loud and clear that it's not okay for anyone to harass anybody. With policymakers, law enforcers, activists, mental health experts, women's rights organizations and influencers, discussions are already in place to combat harassment against women. By taking the conversation to social media platforms, we are taking the fight against harassment to reach a larger audience, thus making it a people's movement.
Ensuring women's safety and every individual's safety should be a priority for everyone.
We are driving advocacy in the true cyber-safe curriculum that focuses on improving mechanisms and capacity to access the digital world safely and increase awareness of cyber fraud and its impact on communities. Having traveled to Telangana, Delhi, Assam and Karnataka, we continue to traverse the length and breadth of the nation to speak with women on the ground about the issue of harassment, sharing inspirational stories of women who have fought harassment. We are empowering every citizen, women and men, to tackle harassment, to report harassment, and to call it out because it's not okay. To report any case of harassment, the government has set up helpline numbers 112 and 181 along with a dedicated portal on cybercrime.gov.in. Most of us are not even aware of these government initiatives and tools to call out harassment and fight back. In reaching over 52 million people on digital platforms, we are making women feel safe and helping them contribute more in the society. The Call It Out Because It's Not Okay initiative made an impact by addressing the issue of harassment from all angles.
To report harassment,
dial 112
or 181 or log on to
cybercrime.gov.in. Learn how to tackle harassment
by visiting
itsnotokay.in.
In the last 3.5 months, an effort towards this was the Conclave organized in Delhi that saw various senior ministers like Smriti Irani, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Debu Singh Chauhan, representatives of the Delhi police and celebrities like Ravina Tandon, Huma Qureshi, Aditi Rao Hydari, citing these helpline numbers on national television channels and digital to ensure people start using these numbers to report harassment.
Dial 112 or 181
or log on to cybercrime.gov.in.
This was followed by a town hall in Telangana, where many dignitaries and public figures encouraged the people to take the fight against harassment.
Very important initiative of both Network 18 and Truecaller. I congratulate both of you, and I in fact assure you, for those women who would like to call out online abuse, we will happily set up a separate cell and ensure that dedicated resources are provided.
The verified women's helpline number 181 and emergency number 112 has also been made available on the home screen of the Truecaller app so that help can be just one tap away. We are strengthening the fight to minimize harassment in society by taking these conversations to the various Indian states. Your constant support can make a difference. So join the movement against harassment.
Call it out.
Call it out.
Call it out because it's not okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to have an opening keynote address by Honorable Chief Minister Odisha, Shri Naveen Patnaik, lending his support to our campaign, Call It Out because it's not okay.
Let's come together to put up a fight against harassment and work towards enhancing women's safety. I thank News18 Network and Truecaller for launching the anti-harassment campaign, Call It Out because it's not okay. To report harassment, dial 112 or 181 or log on to cybercrime.gov.in. You can learn how to tackle harassment and stay safe online by visiting its notok.in and taking the online safety curriculum. It's not okay to ignore harassment. Don't just block, call it out.
Thank you so much, sir. On that resounding note, to join the fight against harassment by Honorable Chief Minister Odisha, Shri Naveen Patnaik, I would now like to welcome Shri Tushar Kanti Behera, Minister of State for Home and Electronics and Information Technology, Odisha, to deliver a special address, please.
Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Sri Naveen Patnaik, Honorable Minister, Srimati Basanti Hembram, Honorable MP, Dr. Amar Patnaik, respected Development Commissioner, organizer of this gala event, News18 Media House, Chief Product Officer, Truecaller, and all the dignitaries of the dais and invited luminaries and panelists and friends from media. Very good evening, one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to be here today at this platform that aims to challenge the current scenario of normalizing harassment of women and crime against them and create awareness on the measures that are available for their protection. Odisha is the land that has produced profound freedom fighters and reformers like Rama Devi and Sarala Devi. In today's time, women of Odisha have already been empowered in terms of culture, education, and job avenues. However, security of our sisters and daughters are still a major challenge. Various forms of harassment have emerged as technology and innovation continue to evolve the way we communicate, stay connected, and function. As a consequence, there has been a surge in cases of harassment, thereby increasing the risk and vulnerability of users. Women have become vulnerable to crimes in the cyberspace, especially young girls on social media platforms. Social media platforms, chat rooms, and dating sites, users, especially young women, should be extremely careful and extra cautious of who they befriend and trust. Cyberstalking, internet bullying, harassment by blackmailing, threatening, and obscene contents are on the rise, and this could be a traumatic experience for a woman. Odisha government, under visionary leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik, has always emphasized on the safety of women and children and has zero tolerance for any form of crime against them, including the cybercrime. Several measures have been introduced to not only sensitize the public, but also to educate the police to register these issues with utmost promptness, to ensure that women can report their cases. Mahila and Sishu Desk are functioning in 537 police stations to take up investigation of cases related to women and children. Standard operating procedures have been issued for prompt registration and investigation of cases also. Government is proactive in implementing sexual harassment of women at workplaces, and 29 investigative units have been set up in Odisha. Awareness program have been conducted by Odisha Police in collaboration with UNICEF to sensitize people about the provisions and procedures to handle cases of sexual assault to minor girls. In case of cyber crimes, prompt reporting and registration is the key. A victim can contact the nearest cyber cell or police station. A complaint may also be filed anonymously through National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. Despite its advantages, Internet is unsafe for women. From privacy data breach to gender-based hate speech to sexual harassment, women continue to face abuse online. At an individual level, cyber security attacks can lead to identify theft and extortion attempt, which can be serious damage to that individual's life. We all rely on the safety of our data and personal information. There has to be a necessary system to ensure safety. Our government have unveiled a new initiative of Mo Sarkar for recording of feedback of citizens who are coming in contact with police or any assistance. It has empowered our citizens to express the difficulties or the glitches in getting the services. We all can collectively influence our peers and family and friends to empower women to speak up and report cases of harassment by spreading awareness on helpline numbers like 112 and 181 and cybercrime.gov.in. We must create awareness amongst men to act like responsible allies in the fight against harassment and call out perpetrators to drive a mindset change. Men need to fight as responsible allies in the fight against harassment and call out perpetrators. We can enable people to stay safe online by urging them to take the online safety curriculum on itsnotok.in. Standing in support of women is the need of the hour, and I commend TV18 and Truecaller who have come together with this nationwide initiative, Call It Out, because it is not okay campaign, encouraging women to call out against any form of harassment and striving to build a safe and secure cyberspace for all, especially women. I urge everyone to come together and join the fight against harassment and crime against women. Thank you, Bande Utkal Janani. Call it out because it is not okay.
May I request you, sir, to please stay back on stage for a moment. Honorable Minister Shibhera ji, can I request you back on stage? And I'd like to invite Pragyan, Director of Public Affairs, Truecaller, to present a token of appreciation to Honorable Minister. May I request the volunteer to bring the... Pragya, you can join us on stage. Thank you so much, sir, for those overwhelming words. There's a small token of love and affection from our side. Thank you for being a part of this campaign. Can we have a round of applause for Shri Tushar Kanti Behra ji? Thank you, Pragya, for doing the honor. Call It Out Because It's Not Okay is a movement to empower women by creating safe spaces for them and spreading awareness about ways to tackle and report harassment. And helping us amplify the message to call it out is one of Odisha's most prominent artists, Padma Shri Sudarshan Patnaik. Let's have a look at this short film. Thank you very much, Shri Sudarshan Patnaik ji. What makes this an important cause is that women in India face harassment on a regular basis, yet they remain silent and refrain to take action against it. The numbers are staggering. We are talking about 1 out of 3 women who receive sexual or offensive calls or SMS, 10% of the work women who face harassment at the workplaces, 50% to 70% of women who have faced some form of domestic violence at least once in their lifetime, not to forget the countless number of women who have been affected by the shadow pandemic of online harassment. This brings us to our first panel discussion on the topic, safety and security of women in the state of Odisha. To moderate this, I'd like to invite on stage Maria Shakil, Senior Political Editor, News18 Network. Can we have a round of applause for Maria, please?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have been taking our campaign to multiple cities, and it's an honor and privilege to be here in Bhubaneswar, in Odisha. Let me get the panelists on the dais. Immediately, Pradeep Jaina, IAS officer, the Development Commissioner and Additional Chief Secretary of the State of Odisha. Rekha Lohani, the Additional Director of Police Crime Against Women and Children, Wing, Bhubaneswar, ma'am here. Dr. Amar Patnaik, sir, right here, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha from Odisha, representing the BJD, is also the party's national spokesperson and the head of the party's IT wing. We have Anu Chaudhary, a well-known social activist and an actor. Anu, welcome. Manasi Pradhan is widely known for her fight for the rights of women. She's an acclaimed author and poet. Ma'am, right there. I hope all of you have the mic with you. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, harassment is a word we perhaps fear, but speak very little about, because it's so commonplace, or I should say, so part of our daily lives that we tend to forget that we are being harassed. And even if we are being harassed, we refuse to call it out. That is the reason why Network 18 and Truecaller have come together to ensure that there are these conversations that take place in multiple cities across India. And to get the stakeholders on board is our primary aim. And that is the reason why we have this eminent panel right here with me for this conversation. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Pradeep Jaina, I'm going to begin with you. How is your government tackling cases of online harassment?
Thank you, Maria. In fact, I must congratulate your channel as well as Truecaller for this wonderful initiative. And yes, harassment to women in different spheres, starting from the family to communities to elsewhere. And now the new form of harassment through online. This is going to increase, not that people would remain silent. Only thing, it depends upon how we take on it, how we call it out, and how we fight against it. As a government, not only the state government, my state government certainly is working on it. As a government, we should create that safety and secured environment for women. And the key enabling pillars for a secured and safe women's environment for women, there are 4 or 5 pillars like education, empowerment, awareness, and then the law and order and the criminal justice system. If all these pillars we don't tackle and we don't, say, educate all our girl children, we encourage them to go, not only just go to the school, but go up to the college. And through the process, we build enough of strength in them to come and report anything that happens to them. One. Second, how do we empower them? Empowerment, when we talk of 3 forms of empowerment: social empowerment, economic empowerment, and political empowerment. So, the women also need to be empowered. Okay, they're 50% of the society, and without with injustice to 50%, we as a society cannot grow. That's fine. But same time, when some people are trying to harass, then I should stand up myself, and then the society should also stand with me. So therefore, social empowerment is very important, and Odisha government last 22 years is working on women self-help groups, and today almost 65 to 67% of the households are represented in Mission Shakti movement, where 7 million women are part of this women self-help groups, Mission Shakti groups, who collectively fight for their own rights. And whenever there is harassment meted out to one woman, at least there will be 10 women to stand for.
That collective fight that you are talking about, ये शायद बहुत अहमियत रखता है, क्योंकि in that collective fight, when one woman speaks up, there will be several others who will join in and fight with her. Ma'am, let me bring you, Rekha Lohani. In terms of key initiatives that have been taken by the government, महिला डेस्क की बात होती है, महिला पुलिस स्टेशंस की बात होती है, बहुत सारे स्टेट्स ने ये भी इनिशिएटिव लिया है ऑफ वुमेन पुलिस ऑफिसर्स. उड़ीसा की अगर बात की जाए तो कब शुरू हुआ ये सारा इनिशिएटिव्स और क्या फ़र्क आप देख रही हैं?
This movement for the empowerment of women in various departments, this had begun long time back. I would say that, this entire paradigm shift has been facilitated to a great extent by this unique initiative of, having reservation in recruitment in various departments. Like, for instance, in police department, there is 33% reservation in various ranks. So that is ensuring that there is a huge induction of women in police force. This is having a huge impact because this is enabling women police officers in police stations to be able to, receive the complaints from the public who are coming, create an ambience where they feel free to report their crime. So this has been a great step, and these women and Mahila and Shishu desk, which are existing in all in 537 police stations as of now, and it is being established in another 108 police stations in Odisha, will be a great step. Apart from that, I would say that Odisha government is very much alive to this issue of women and children, the crime against women and children, because last year only they have created crime against women wing under crime branch as a separate body. Till now, it was a part of crime branch. Now it is a separate body which has an independent office in Rasulgarh, Bhubaneswar. So this crime against women wing has the mandate of investigating and also monitoring the investigation of the cases throughout all the police stations in Odisha. So whenever there is a sensitive crime, whenever there is a grave crime which is reported, we take over the investigation of that case. Above this, over and above this, whatever cases are being registered, they are being monitored by us directly. So this again is a huge milestone which will, in the days to come, prove to be of immense help to the women and children in Odisha. I must inform the public that there are similar units which are existing in 29 districts. Crime against women units are existing in 29 districts which are mandated to take up the investigation of sensitive cases against crime against women and children. Secondly, there have been child-friendly police stations also in various districts, which again create an ambience where the children of children who are coming to the police station, they can relate to various facilities which exist, and they are able to air their opinion, and they are able to ventilate their grievance in a ambience which is conducive to it. So these are the various initiatives which have been undertaken by the government in last previous few years. And for the information of the public, that I would like to inform that in order to facilitate the victims of sexual abuse to air their grievances or to air their trauma or to ventilate their problems, there is a helpline which is going to be launched very soon in the Crime Against Women and Children wing, and where the victims of this child abuse or sexual abuse, they would be able to, take the counseling help and psychosocial counseling initiatives which are with the facility which is there.
That certainly will be a big help for all the women out there who need that immediate number to make that first call. I think that first responder that we keep talking about becomes very key.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be opening the floor to all the women out there. I can see a number of them for all the questions that you may have to the panelists. But before that, Dr. Amar Patnaik, the Odisha government is focusing on enhancing cybersecurity. Can you give us a sense of this entire cybersecurity operation that is being undertaken?
Thank you, Mario, for this question. And just before I start, I think thank Truecaller and News18 for organizing this panel discussion. As you know, I think the world over, not just in Odisha, the world over, the incidence of harassment of women is now more through the internet, through the cybercrime kind of a situation. And this has been accentuated particularly after the pandemic, because I think for a couple of reasons, that access to the devices that through which you can access the internet was made available to people. And people also realized that it is very easy to get into the internet to harass people, including women. And you would be astonished to know that I was just going through some figures. In 2018, whatever cyber cases we had, it increased fourfold in 2020, and has been increasing. And in 2022, in the first 2 months, it's more than what was reported in 2018. And this, since everybody is here, I would strongly recommend that these are cases, these are numbers which are being reported. There are things which are happening under the wave, deep wave as they say, and those kind of things are very difficult to even trace and report, because you don't know from where it is coming.
Yes.
So I would think that keeping this in mind, what the Odisha government has done, that is the Cyber Security Operations Center, which it has set up, I think it's very innovative. It will address the issue of, monitoring as a preventive measure, what kind of content is coming. And if there is a possibility of bringing down, blocking, or terminating a particular conversation to continue, I think that would be that's a very innovative step that has been taken. Added to that is, of course, the fact that there are various malwares which deny you the service. So that has also been built into this. So I think an ecosystem which is being developed in Odisha to address this issue of cybercrime is particularly innovative, because it's not there anywhere in the country. It is being integrated into all other systems. So what Rekhaji was saying about the stations, police stations, that's after the thing is reported, which is very important, because certainty of punishment is more important than just having the punishment, the quantum of punishment. But I think more important is the government's proactive role in realizing that this is a risk, and where are the vulnerabilities, and where are the threats, and then identifying these to take down sites, to report cases to the national certain, to terminate complete conversations, and try to trace who is the originator of that kind of a conversation. So people here would actually have the confidence that if they report a case, first they are being protected against it, and if they report, action is also being taken. So I think the entire ecosystem is being developed in Odisha, which is pretty unique.
So you talk about preventive measures. I think that's very key here. And the government has to give that confidence to women.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That if they make that call, they will be taken care of.
In fact, you see, that is even one step further, because what we are trying to do now is to identify it ourselves even before being reported.
Yes.
So continuously, 24/7, this particular operation center would be looking at the kind of messages, the kind of sites, the kind of content that is coming over there. You would realize that the central government has recently also come out with a paper which is put on the web, which is put on the internet for debate, public debate, which is on content moderation. So that would actually include this as well.
Okay.
So what Odisha government is doing is actually proactively doing this even earlier than the central government.
Okay, okay. Anu, come in on this. Harassment affects women from all walks of life. When we talk about the film industry, the industry that you represent, the industry that you talk about, what is the nature of harassment that we see?
Very good evening to all of you. And first of all, I must say thank you. I'm really happy to be here, and really it's an opportunity to speak few words regarding the harassment, what's going on, not today, past over decades. And thank you Truecaller and News18 for this initiative. And I must say being into film industry past 2 decades, from my childhood I'm here only. So I worked in Odisha and in Telugu, Bombay and Kolkata, Chhattisgarh, so many states. I must say there is no direct approach always for the harassment. So sometimes people indirectly also with towards your sometimes they will ask you, sometimes they will harass you with your words also. Whether there is 2 words in the film industry, everybody must be aware of this, like adjustment and compromise. And in between also there is a campaign going on, Me Too. It's a long campaign going on, but I must say yes, personally I never come across for the harassment in the film industry, because I truly believe in the talent, and you have to do your hard work, and you believe in the talent to come out. But so many people, those who are coming from the small town, they want to be career in the film industry. They sometimes actually gone through this.
So Anu, when you talk about, of course, as we say, that harassment is something that women face no matter in which profession they are in. Even when they are walking on the streets, they are subject to, because that makes them very, very vulnerable. In terms of experience, मुझे ये जानना है कि when you say adjustment and compromise, ये phone से आप अगर इस तरह से कुछ message किसी को, not you, maybe any of your friends who is from the industry, has she shared her story, and what was your advice? Block कर दो या report करो?
It's really happened, and जो नए कमर आते हैं ना, वो लोग आके बोलते हैं कि they call us Didi, and ma'am, see like this we are somebody messages us and somebody is asking. I say कि first you go and report. First you go and report. First you ask them. See, blocking something like if you block the number, then there will be a call from another number, so that will not stop. So you should take an action. Because without action, so there is no end. Without action, there is no end. So I advise people, whenever the newcomers coming.
Besides blocking, the person might be harassing somebody else.
Yeah,
because
that's
if you block somebody, you might block that particular person from yourself, but he might be harassing others as well.
Exactly.
So reporting, it's not okay.
Reporting is a solution. Blocking is not a solution.
Yes. So what about you, ma'am, Manasi Pradhan? Yes, you have the mic with you. Women National Campaign जो है, उसके बारे में हमें बताइए, और आप क्या encourage करती हैं usually औरतों को? What do you tell them? Block or report?
Thank you. सबको मैं बधाई देना चाहती हूँ. धन्यवाद.
मैम थोड़ा माइक.
मैं आपको ऑनर फॉर वुमेन नेशनल कैंपेन के बारे में बोल रही हैं, जो 2009 में मैंने लॉन्च की थी. ये सिर्फ इसलिए किया था, मैंने देखा, मैंने काम बचपन से कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ शहर में नहीं कर रहे, मैं गांव से आई हैं. मैं जंगल के अंदर पैदा हुई थी, वो दिल्ली तक गई, और बाहर में भी अभी काम कर रहे हैं मैं इंटरनेशनल में. इसीलिए मुझे पता है, मैं जुड़ी हुई है मिट्टी में. जो औरत काम कर रहे हैं, जो गांव में रहती हैं, घूंघट के नीचे जो रहती हैं, वही महिला से लेकर मैं इंटरनेशनल महिला के साथ भी जुड़ी हुई है. वो मैं समझती हूँ ये लोग का दुख क्या है, दर्द क्या है, क्या हरासमेंट है, एक्चुअली क्या है दुख, ये मैं जानती हूँ. इसलिए मुझे दुख हो रहा था. मैंने डिसाइड किया 2009 में ऑनर फॉर वुमेन नेशनल कैंपेन मैंने शुरू किया, लॉन्च किया. वो सब महिला अवेयरनेस के लिए, महिला सचेतन होना चाहिए. महिला डरती है थाना जाने के लिए. कोई डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस गांव में हो रहे हैं ना, वो बहुत मुश्किल से जाती हैं. पीछे पीछे कोई जाएंगी, कोई डरेगी, कोई क्या करेंगी. ये जो डर है उसका निकालने के लिए वो महिला का अत्याचार से थोड़ा सा रिलीज करने के लिए मैंने ऑनर फॉर वुमेन नेशनल कैंपेन शुरू किया था। वो मैंने सारे जितना उड़ीसा में नहीं है, पूरा हिंदुस्तान में हर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को मैंने रिक्वेस्ट किया था, आप 4 पॉइंट जो डिमांड मेरा था उसको थोड़ा सा आप एक्सेप्ट करेंगी तो महिला हरासमेंट, महिला अत्याचार से थोड़ा रिलीज हो सकते हैं। ये फर्स्ट पॉइंट मेरा था। तो हरासमेंट, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस क्यों हो रहा है, वर्क प्लेस वायलेंस क्यों हो रहा है, रोड पे वायलेंस क्यों हो रहा है, सबके साथ वायलेंस हो रहा है। हम बोले सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी, अरे हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है क्या समाज में? हमारा जितना अधिकार है, पुरुष का जितना अधिकार है, सेम है। लेकिन हम महिला को क्यों समझते हैं कि महिला के पास कुछ पावर नहीं है, वो महिला है। ये महिला को इतना मत समझो भाई, महिला सबसे पावरफुल है। इसीलिए मैंने ये शुरू किया अवेयरनेस के लिए, और डिमांड किया था वो जो लिकर इलीगल ट्रेड, उसके वजह से भी हरासमेंट हो रहे हैं महिला, और टर्चर भी हो रहे हैं घर में। उसको थोड़ा कम करने के लिए मैंने गवर्नमेंट को रिक्वेस्ट किया था, सारे गवर्नमेंट को। और सेकंड पॉइंट था स्पेशल प्रोटेक्शन फोर्स जी। अब स्पेशल प्रोटेक्शन फोर्स होना चाहिए। और थर्ड था फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट होगा तो इतना कोई रेप कर रहे हैं भाई 7 साल तो लग जाएगी ना रिजल्ट आने तक। तो हम बोले ये विक्टिम को निकाल दो, विक्टिम में ये करो, विक्टिम में ये करो। भाई महिला विक्टिम नहीं है, जो कर रहे हैं वो विक्टिम है। आप क्यों समझते नहीं है जी? आप महिला को दोष दे रहे हैं।
नहीं मानसी जी, आपने जो अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताया और जो पॉइंट्स रेस किया, आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज
फोर्थ पॉइंट, लास्ट पॉइंट
जी बोलिए।
जो डिमांड हम कर रहे हैं
जी,
वो आप स्कूल से लेकर कॉलेज तक सेल्फ डिपेंडेंस कोर्स की शुरू कीजिए। ये शुरू करने से वीमेन सेल्फ डिफेंस, सेल्फ प्रोटेक्शन के लिए अपने पास पावर हो जाएगी। वो खुद को कभी वीक नहीं समझ सकते।
I'll take that question to Mr. Jaina directly.
ये
That's a request that has come from her.
ये 4 पॉइंट कोई स्टेट एक्सेप्ट किया, अभी तक ओडिशा में नहीं हुआ है। ओडिशा में वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट हो रहा है, ओडिशा में महिला बहुत आगे जा रहे हैं, ये सच है, हम मान रहे हैं। लेकिन जितना होना चाहिए महिला हरासमेंट।
Fine enough, ma'am. Let's seek an answer from him directly.
वो मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट
जी,
हमारी गवर्नमेंट ये 4 पॉइंट शुरू करेंगी,
राइट,
तो हरासमेंट कम हो जाएगी, अत्याचार कम हो जाएगी, महिला को थोड़ा सा रिलीज मिलेगा।
Absolutely, yes.
In fact, she has brought out very forcefully the real issues, and it's about harassment is going on. How do we prevent? And for that thing, yes, one woman is suffering in one household, the neighboring women don't come out. So how do we bring everybody together to collective fight?
The mic, yes.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. Second, yes, there is a need for introducing gender-balanced curriculum in schools where male children, starting from childhood, I must appreciate the other gender. I can't denigrate the other side. So it should be inculcated, through our education system. Third, yes, special protection force, one can raise. Few battalions, few companies you can raise. But then, you can't have one protection guard with everybody. So time will come when we have to fight our thing. And if I can't fight, yes, sometimes somebody can come and slap me also. But should I hide myself or should I go and report? So encouraging women, empowering them to come out and speak. And then when you speak, how does the government respond? So government, as Rekha was suggesting, and so our system should be proactive. Our system should be immediately taking up this thing. And we must support the many of us, we say victim card. No, we must support with somebody who has come with a complaint. And I must support. And that is where there is a need to motivate, to train, and also educate our entire law and order machinery, right from the Mahila and Sishu desk, many of them, they might not be knowing under what section I have to book the cases. So there is a need to train them, change their mindset, and then we have to have this a very well-oiled criminal justice delivery system, fast-tracking cases, giving exemplary punishments, all those things need to be done. I do agree, some of those things have, like 60 fast-track courts have been set up in Odisha, in all the sub-regional headquarters, as well as in each district. But then, these courts need to also take it really in a fast-track mode, so that, see, if I feel that, okay, I can commit any injustice and, okay, 20 years, no problem. So then, there is should be little deterrent. Deterrent, law and order machinery, our police, like we have initiated a thing called Mo Sarkar, which Honorable Minister was giving. What is that Mo Sarkar? Mo Sarkar is basically a feedback system where any citizen who goes, he is entitled to get a service from an office or from an officer or from an institution, whether he is, what sort of service is like. So every day around 20,000-30,000 people in the state are telephoned from a central call desk, right from Chief Minister office to Chief Secretary down below to departmental heads, who find out as to what has happened. Because of this now, you go to a police station, you can find out what is happening. In fact, somebody will telephone, you had gone to this police station, because everything is captured in digital mode. You had gone. How was the response of the police? How was the behavior of the police? And for your information, several police officers have lost their job because of inappropriate behavior or inappropriate action against those complaints. So because of that, you get encouraged. If the other side responds well, then you get encouraged. Sometimes there are news that, okay, lot many cases have against women have come up in Odisha. There are two ways of interpreting it. Yes, cases have increased, fine. Whether the cases were not there earlier, or for the first time the cases are increasing against women, or more people are coming forward and reporting it. Okay. We must encourage more people to come, and once more cases come to us, then the system must fine-tune itself to respond to those.
Okay. Ma'am, Rekha Lohani, when a woman faces harassment, be it phone, online, offline, what are the immediate steps she can do to report in Odisha?
Yeah, the harassment is of two types, offline and online. So whenever there is an offline harassment case, whether it is in a public place like bus stop or maybe in some college or school institutions. So immediately what they can do is to call 112. The 112 is a system wherein the PCR vans which are patrolling throughout the state, they can come to the rescue of anybody who calls 112. So in the offline harassment, immediately people should call 112. There is a very robust system, about 353 PCR vehicles. They are roaming throughout the state, so they can immediately reach out to you. As regards this online harassment, whenever you feel you face any instance of that kind, people can immediately file their online report through cybercrime.gov.in. There is another website which is cyberps.cidcp.orpol@nic.in, wherein they can submit their online complaints. Above this, there is one toll-free number, 1930, wherein anybody who faces the online harassment, they can immediately dial and ascertain as to what is the next step they should do. So these are the various provisions which exist, and I must tell you, in order to deal with this ever-increasing, cyber crimes, the capacity building of the officers who are investigating such cases is also being taken up simultaneously. About 2,200 police officers, they have been trained, and they are now well equipped to handle this rising trend of cyber crimes.
And Dr. Patnaik, we have emphasized on awareness, that there is a need for everybody to be aware, and that is the reason why this True Cyber Safe curriculum has been launched by us. What do you think stakeholders need to do in terms of ensuring that there is greater awareness? How do you spread that awareness?
See, awareness has to be done at various levels, of course. Most important thing is, as Pradeep Jena said, it has to start in the schools itself, because through the curriculum, people come to know what would constitute, when do you recognize that a certain incident is actually an incident which is not acceptable to a child because it is to be treated as a sexual content. So I think the awareness has to come at the schools level. Awareness, I think, also has to come at the household level. In every family, the support has to come to the child that there is, if there is an incident, then the child should be free to report to his parents, and he should be encouraged to go along with probably the parents
yes, that's very key.
So family suppresses.
It's a really vital point. It's a really vital point.
So
Every household
that is the societal awareness that has to come. And particularly, as Madam said, in rural areas, this is very important because in rural areas, the elders of the village probably decide that this should not be reported because this is the ijjat of the village or something like that. Particularly in North India. Particularly in North India.
Is associated.
No, that's not acceptable. So that's an awareness. So awareness has to be done 24/7. You know, through television, through print media, and at all levels throughout the year. What happens is that we generally do an awareness week. I think that's not sufficient. And what is even more important is that, as in Odisha, they have done a very nice film they made on you know, this aspect of harassment, normal harassment, not just at the workplace, and it was accepted all over. Then we have something called as street plays. We have something called as public, the kind of town halls that you are having. Now, these have to be woven into our state scheme, not just in Odisha, everywhere. So the societal change has to take place. Unless that happens, the awareness will not take.
Yes. I'll just supplement what Amar says. In fact, in Odisha, out of 1,800,000, almost 1,01,000 public representatives, around 60% this time are women. 60%. 21 out of 30 Jila Panchayat heads are women. 209 out of 314 block chairpersons are women. So 60% of 1,60,000 political leaders at the grassroots. It's a potent force if we can train them. If we can talk to them and encourage them.
And women should encourage other women. Women should not be deterring or stopping the other women from reporting harassment. Quickly, Anu, and then I'll open the floor. Can I see the mic, please? The mic has to move around. Let's start raising the hands for the questions. Please go ahead,
Anu. I must say, yes, there is a quite vital point. And Amar Patnaik told and Pradeep Janaji. The awareness should start from your home. That is the first thing. And you should, make sure your children should respect and understand the care towards your, parents, sister, mother, anybody. Because that is the age only what they see, they learn. So the first thing, if you want really, the nation should be harassment-free. All the population should be well educated, first thing. And not only women and men also, they have to well educated and financially sound.
Yes.
The women should be financially sound.
Yes, and you make that valid point. You know, while we talk about men as allies, what is needed is also that elderly woman in the family has to be an ally as well in reporting harassment.
Yes.
Because there have been multiple cases in which the mother tells the daughter, मत करो report because हम लोग rural parts of India से आते हैं.
चुप हो जा, कुछ भी है तो चुप हो
जो
जाओ.
चुप हो जाने वाला जो
चुप हो जाओ needs to be
So there is a good
that chup ho jao needs to be silence. On that note, let's open the floor. Girls, please ask questions. सवाल पूछिए because सवाल पूछना बहुत जरूरी है. तभी जवाब मिलेगा. Okay, let's move the mic. Yes, please stand up and ask.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm highly privileged.
Ma'am, you have to place the mic a little closer.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm highly privileged to Truecaller and News18 for giving the privilege to ask the question to the panelists and all the women and ladies present here. I think which is the most important cause for harassment? It's fertility. It's fertility which is the main cause of harassment. Today we are having menstrual week. for this last. How many of the girls or women can declare that I am having periods right now? How many women can say that the stain which I'm having on my clothes, I am not ashamed of that? How many parents teach children that fertility is not your weakness, it is your strength? You are the cause of further civilization. Recently, ma'am, what happened? We conducted a workshop on menstrual cycle. We collected 80 girls from all over Odisha through Navodaya Vidyalaya. And there was a small girl who came to the forefront of media and told that I am proud to be a girl and I can declare my periods because I am giving birth to the next generation. And for example, I want to cite a case recently on 15 June. There was a girl named Miss Patnaik, I won't declare the name, right? She left her home at 6:40 p.m.
Yes.
of Brit Burger Colony.
Okay.
The parents went to the police station and filed an FIR. The police didn't pay any heed. At 12:30 a.m., midnight, I got a call. I called the police station. What are your steps? Ma'am, we have reported we took the FIR. After 24 hours, we are going to take. I told, what will be the condition of the girl?
Okay.
Have you ever mentioned?
Ma'am, thank you so much. Rekha Lohani will take that question. Yes.
What is the question? It needs to be...
It was more of a statement. Yeah. Response from the police, the last part. Yes.
When the woman goes to the police station to file the FIR, what is the next step? Is that what you asked or what else?
The promptness with which the police...
The promptness of the police.
Yeah, that is it.
It's more of an observation.
Okay, so what you're saying, as I understood, was that the police responded after 24 hours for the registration of the FIR.
After I convinced them, they took expedient steps and the girl was rescued.
Okay. So, police is prompt, as in whatever incident you narrated, so they immediately took steps for the rescue of the girl. So, it's a good thing. I mean, I'm sure the similar response will continue in the future as well.
Yes, multiple aspects are there in that, ma'am. So, yes, let's talk about it for and then I'll move to another question. Yes.
So, in this particular case, maybe there was a delay of about 4-5 hours or whatever. So, I mean, this delay should not take place. Anyway, after the receipt of the information, if they have taken steps for the rescue of the people, then it's a good thing. I'm sure, I mean, if that particular instance is brought to our notice, maybe that can be taken as a, example and, further sensitization of rest of the officers can be done.
Yes. Let's take 2 more questions because we have really come to the end of this discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Girls, I can see you pretty and smiling. Come on, ask questions. Ha, please chup mat raho. Sawal inse puchiye. Ha. Yes. Please go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Sohana. I'm from OUTIA. My question is, while reporting harassment on digital platforms like Truecaller, how do I know that my complaint is being registered and being justified?
Mr. Jena, you'll take that question? Yes.
Although Pragya would be the right person to answer this, but in Truecaller, if you have a Truecaller app in your phone, what they showed is that there are 2 numbers there,
yes.
112 and 181.
181.
Both numbers are there. So if you press those numbers and register your complaints, it automatically gets forwarded to the respective states and respective units. And then the state police machinery or the appropriate authorities, they start responding. That is, so you just tap there, then your complaint reaches the right quarters. How that right quarter responds, that's a subsequent thing, but at least the complaint gets transferred to the right quarter.
So in fact, Maria, that's very important. You should know this, that Truecaller is just facilitating transfer of your complaint. The place to report is this cybersecurity website, or you can do directly to the police station, go to a cybercrime station and report it. But what Truecaller is doing is facilitating it, and sometimes it may not be physically possible for you to go there, but you have a mobile phone with you, in which case you can just tap it over there and the call gets transferred. But you should know that it is only facilitating. The actual persons to take action on your complaint case would be the police.
One more question we can take. Yes. Let's move to that table. I think there is someone there. Ma'am, I'm going to come back because, yeah, there's someone there. Yes. And yes, please go ahead quickly.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes.
Thank you. Actually, मेरे ऐसे सराउंडिंग में कुछ ऐसे हुआ है हरासमेंट, जैसे सर ने कहा कि ग्राउंड लेवल,
माइक थोड़ा सा, हाँ,
ग्राउंड लेवल, लाइक हमारे फैमिली वाले अगर इतना ही एजुकेटेड और वैसे नहीं होंगे तो हम कैसे करेंगे? एक्चुअली मेरे किसी नोन में एक 12 साल की बच्ची raped by her own father and she got pregnant, and police हमारे जो उनकी माँ इतनी ज़्यादा पढ़ी लिखी नहीं है, and उनको कहा गया कि you need to birth that child to for DNA test, क्योंकि जब वो आपके पेट में है आप उस वक्त DNA टेस्ट आपका नहीं हो सकता. तो एक्चुअली मैं
I understand.
No, I think
yes,
yeah.
your sentiments are very well taken.
But what is the question that you want to ask
basically
in this
she's
particular
sharing
thing?
that.
Okay. Actually,
sharing the incident happened.
All right. So I would like to respond to this. This is a very unfortunate thing that a girl child of 12-year-old got pregnant, and she was asked to give birth to the child to enable the DNA test.
Yes.
Let me inform you, if a child gets pregnant between up to the 24 weeks of pregnancy, the pregnancy can be terminated under the advice of 2 doctors. So it is not essential that anybody who gets pregnant because of this sexual intercourse or whatever, rape or something, she is not bound to give birth to the child. And she can undergo this MPP under the advice of the
I think she's talking about the larger mindset in a family.
No, I think she's telling that
it's a mindset in a family which is very disturbing. The mother is refusing to acknowledge that her husband has committed a crime. And the crime has been committed against the daughter.
In fact,
ये चीज़ मतलब सेमलेस बात ये है कि उसकी जो दादी है, अभी वो जो इंसान है जिन्होंने ये चीज़ किया है, sorry,
I'll give you a similar example which came to me. In fact, the day I joined as collector of Kalahandi district, the first time I opened the DAC, I found a letter, inland letter, saying that I am hereby depositing 45,000 rupees. As assured, no case should be registered against me. It was a little funny letter for me. What do I do with this thing? Somebody, 45,000 rupees draft has been attached, and with a condition that as assured, as agreed, no case should be registered against me. So I asked my officers, what is this case about? Then it was something like this. A tribal girl, who is a daughter of a peon, was raped continuously by the headmaster of that tribal school. Okay. Tribal school headmaster was raping the daughter of the peon. And she got pregnant, and in a tribe, she was not that educated, the family didn't know. And by the time they discovered that she is pregnant, it's about 7th month. Okay, fine. So it was agreed to settle the matter by giving 45,000 rupees, and somebody in the administration had accepted. Unfortunately, the draft came to me that day I have joined as collector. I said, sorry, I can't accept this. I directed SP to register a case. The present DG, my batchmate. We took it to the logical end, and the fellow was convicted.
It takes a lot of courage for a young girl
to
narrate that story in a hall full of women and men.
I can say
and it takes a lot of courage to do that, and it is about the real call it out which has happened here.
This is what all of us should encourage.
मानसी जी, मैं आपको फाइनल थॉट्स के लिए बोलूंगी, 30 सेकंड में करिए, क्योंकि हमारे जो प्रोड्यूसर है वो बार-बार बोल रहे हैं कि ये पैनल डिस्कशन खत्म करना है. प्लीज कंक्लूड करिए जी.
मैं इतना ही बोलना चाहूँगी। तो आप जो वुमेन के ऊपर अत्याचार हो रहे हैं ये सबको पता है, इसीलिए हम सिर्फ लेडीज नहीं करेंगे, वो जेंट्स नहीं करेंगे, पुरुष नहीं करेंगे, सब लोग
आवाज बेहतर होगी अगर
सब लोग इकट्ठे होकर ये जो काम हो रहा है, अपकर्म हो रहा है, उसको रोकने के लिए सोसाइटी में हर पीपल जो लेडीज है, जेंट्स है, बॉयज है, गर्ल है, सबका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। सब इकट्ठी हो जाएगी। कोई लेडीज के ऊपर कुछ हो रहा है, हम ऐसे आंख बंद करके चला जाएंगी तो ये सुधार नहीं होगा। हम सब इकट्ठे होकर ये अत्याचार को रुकने के लिए आवाज उठाना पड़ेगा। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ सब लोग, यहाँ जितना लोग बैठे हैं, जितने लेडीज बैठे हैं, कोई एक केस आ रहे हैं तो उसके ऊपर कैसे उसको हेल्प मिलेगा, कैसे उसको जस्टिस मिलेगा, इसलिए सब लोग इकट्ठे हो जाओ। वो जब इकट्ठे होगा तब ये कम होगा।
Thank you so much for joining us, Mansi Pradhan ji, Anu Chaudhary, Dr. Amar Patnaik, Rekha Lohani and Pradeep Jaina. Thank you so much for this engaging discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank
As
you
we keep saying, call it out because it's not okay. And thank you so much to that young girl who got that courage to call it out in this gathering. So, hats off.
Thank you, Maria. May I request the panel to please stay back on stage for a moment, and may I request Pragya, Director of Public Affairs, Truecaller, to please join us back on stage and present small tokens of gratitude to the panelists for that absolutely enlightening session. Thank you so much, panelists, for sharing your thoughtful insights with us. And thank you, Maria, for so wonderfully moderating the session. I'm sure the voices are being heard. I'm sure change is happening. And I'm sure tomorrow will be a day when women will feel safer at the workplaces, at home, anywhere they are, and there'll be less and less harassment. That picture definitely is mandatory. Post a very successful session. Thank you once again, panelists. Thank you, moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, time now to hear from a leader who's also a woman, of her vision of women's safety. Please put your hands together for Srimati Basanti Hembram, Honorable Minister of State for Women and Child Development, to please deliver a very special address. Srimati Hembram.
नमस्कार। आज के इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि माननीय मुख्यमंत्री एवं उपस्थित सभी मंत्रीगण, न्यूज़ 18 टीम के सदस्य, अन्य पदाधिकारीगण, मीडिया के मित्रों और उपस्थित सदस्यों को मेरा सादर नमस्कार एवं अभिनंदन। मुझे ये कहते हुए गर्व है कि महिला एवं बाल विकास विभाग ओडिशा सरकार महिलाओं और बच्चों के समग्र विकास के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। विभाग के प्रमुख कार्यक्रम राज्य में महिलाओं और बच्चों की स्थिति में मौलिक परिवर्तन ला रही है। ऐतिहासिक रूप से महिलाओं के खिलाफ अपराध कानूनी प्रावधानों के होने के बावजूद एक स्वीकृत वास्तविकता रही है। यह महिलाओं के खिलाफ हिंसा की सामाजिक स्वीकार्यता के कारण है। हालांकि बदलाव लाने के लिए यह जरूरी है कि समाज के हर वर्ग के महिलाओं के कानूनी अधिकार से अवगत कराया जाए। इन सामाजिक बुराइयों के खिलाफ लड़ने के लिए और समाज के हर वर्ग को आगे आने के लिए राज्य सरकार निरंतर प्रयास कर रही है। राज्य में महिलाओं और लड़कियों के सशक्तिकरण और विकास के लिए व्यवस्थित निवेश किया है। बच्चों की सुरक्षा एवं संरक्षण पर भी राज्य सरकार सक्रियता के साथ निरंतर प्रयास कर रही है। ओडिशा की लड़कियों और महिलाओं के लिए राज्य नीति 2014 एक ऐसा समय वातावरण बनाने का मिशन है जो समय अवसरों को बढ़ावा देता है, भेदभाव को समाप्त करता है, समग्र विकास सुनिश्चित करता है। राज्य ने विकास के लिए जीवन चक्र दृष्टिकोण लाइफ साइकिल अप्रोच अपनाया है। शिक्षा, पोषण, स्वास्थ्य, देखभाल और महिलाओं के आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण में अपने विकासशील पदक्षेपों एवं कार्यक्रमों के माध्यम से निवेश किया है। इन्हीं कार्यक्रम में प्रमुख है सोपान कार्यक्रम। यह रणनीति राज्य के पोषण की समस्या से ग्रसित लड़कियों में इलाकों में रहने वाले आबादी की स्वास्थ्य तथा पोषण संबंधी अतिरिक्त आवश्यकताओं को पूरा करती है एवं यह योजना की जिम्मेदारी पूरी तरह से राज्य सरकार उठाती है। ममता योजना के अंतर्गत माताओं को आर्थिक सहयोग प्रदान, सचेतनता के प्रयासों, अन्य स्वास्थ्य संबंधित कार्यक्रम में के द्वारा राज्य में मातृ और शिशु मृत्यु दर को कम करने और गर्भवती और स्तनपान कराने वाली माताओं और नवजात बच्चे के स्वास्थ्य और पोषण की स्थिति में सुधार करने में सक्षम हुई है। आप लोग को यह जानकर खुशी होगी कि राज्य में NFHS 4 और 5 के बीच लगभग हर स्वास्थ्य और पोषण संकेतक में महत्वपूर्ण सुधार दिखाया है। यह राज्य सरकार के सकारात्मक पदक्षेपों का परिसूचक है। इसी तरह कोविड-19 के दौरान माता या पिता या दोनों को खोने वाले 30,000 से ज़्यादा बच्चों को राज्य स्तरीय आशीर्वाद योजना द्वारा बहुआयामी सहयोग प्रदान किया गया है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री एवं विभाग बच्चों एवं महिलाओं की सुरक्षा के लिए अपने प्रयास कर रही है। बाल संरक्षण योजनाएं और कार्यक्रम देखभाल और संरक्षण की आवश्यकता वाले बच्चे और कानून का उल्लंघन करने वाले बच्चे की बुनियाद ज़रूरतों की उचित देखभाल, संरक्षण, विकास, उपचार और सामाजिक पुनः एकीकरण के माध्यम से पूरा करते हैं। इसके अतिरिक्त विभाग लड़कियों और महिलाओं के लिए विभिन्न योजनाओं जैसे कामकाजी महिला छात्रावास, वन स्टॉप सेंटर, बिजू कन्या रत्न, महिला हेल्पलाइन, सुधार गृह, उज्ज्वला होम आदि के द्वारा सामाजिक परिवर्तन एवं सुरक्षित वातावरण बनाने में सक्षम हो रही है। महिलाओं के खिलाफ हिंसा की रोकथाम, यौन उत्पीड़न की रोकथाम, घरेलू हिंसा की रोकथाम, तस्करी विरोधी, बाल विवाह पर रोक आदि के लिए उचित कानून एवं सांगठनिक व्यवस्थाएं मौजूद है, जिसके माध्यम से सुरक्षा एवं घरेलू एवं कार्यक्षेत्र में भी सुरक्षित माहौल बनाया गया है। इसी तरह हिंसा से प्रभावित महिलाओं को तत्काल और आपातकालीन सहायता प्रदान करने के लिए 24x7 टोल फ्री महिला हेल्पलाइन चालू है। हिंसा से प्रभावित महिलाओं के मुद्दों के समाधान के लिए अब सभी 30 जिलों में वन स्टॉप सेंटर चालू है, जिसके माध्यम से एक केंद्र में ही चिकित्सा, कानूनी, पुलिस संबंधित काउंसलिंग या सामाजिक आवास की सुविधा उपलब्ध होती है। राज्य की आजीविका पहल शिक्षा और जीवन कौशल के माध्यम से किशोरियों के सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में एक नई प्रतिबद्धता है। हाल के वर्षों में विभाग ने पोषण में सुधार के लिए कोई उपाय किए हैं, जैसे एसएनपी, सोपान, विभ्रांत आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र, कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री फीडिंग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए अभियान, पाड़ा पुष्टि कार्यक्रम, शाम बच्चों के परिवार की मानचित्रण, पोषण संकेतों को सुधारने के लिए डीएमएफ, ओम्बडसी, धन का लाभ उठाना इत्यादि। राज्य सरकार के प्रयास माननीय मुख्यमंत्री नवीन पटनायक जी की 5T मार्गदर्शन द्वारा प्रेरित है। सूचना तकनीकी के व्यवहार एवं पारदर्शिता इत्यादि के माध्यम से पोषण, महिला एवं बाल विकास के क्षेत्र में ट्रांसपेरेंसी लाने का सतत प्रयास जारी है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री नवीन पटनायक जी की दूरदृष्टि, मार्गदर्शन और नेतृत्व इन उद्देश्य को साकार करने में मदद करेगा। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, वंदे उत्कल जननी।
May I please request you, ma'am, to stay back for a moment, and may I request Pragya to please join us on stage and present a small token of gratitude to Honorable Minister Srimati Basanti Hembram. Thank you for those words of welcome. Absolutely befitting for the occasion when we are talking about no harassment for women. Thank you so much, ma'am. A key factor in women's economic empowerment is their ability to participate equally in the workforce. But India has one of the lowest female labor force participation rates in the world, as per World Bank estimates. This is a critical issue that needs to be addressed, because when more women work, economies grow. We must also analyze the impact that lack of safety can have in limiting economic opportunities and growth for women. To moderate this discussion on safety and its role in economic empowerment of women, I'd like to once again invite on stage Maria Shakal, Senior Political Editor, News18 Network.
Thank you so much. I'm back on the dais again. So harassment actually impacts our spaces, and it also has a major impact on how a woman sees her career, her economic prospects. And that's what we'll be debating and talking and discussing in this panel. Let me have on the dais Arun Bothra, one of the most prominent faces on Twitter. He is the additional DGP, Director General of Police of the Criminal Investigation Department of Odisha Crime Branch. Sir, pleasure to see you. Dr. Rosaline Patasani she is the founder of Parichay Foundation, a philanthropic organization which is recognized and felicitated by the President of India. Thank you so much, ma'am. Sukriti Patnaik, hi. She is the MD of Indulge and an entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Sukriti. Please do come. And we have Pragya, the Director of Public Affairs at Truecaller. Pragya, welcome. So before I begin the session, I'm going to tell everyone, all those girls out there, let's ask questions. I'm going to open the floor for questions after this round of discussion. And let me begin with a statistic, which is very depressing, but it is something which has to be spoken about. The employment gap between men and women is about 58%. And bridging this gap could expand India's GDP by close to a third by 2050. So why is it important for us to talk about safety and its role in economic empowerment of women? Let me take that question straight to Mr. Bothra. How safe are women in Odisha? And have you come across cases, sir, where a woman has come to you to say that because my space is not safe, my workspace is not secure, I have opted out of job?
Second is no. I have not seen any such case where lady has quit the job or something because of this harassment. I have not seen personally, but I believe this may be, this is a possibility. Now, I'll put it other way around. When you talk about, I'm connecting both the questions. In Odisha, the women empowerment and economic empowerment has rather made it difficult for the harassers. I'm not telling here as an officer or representing the government. I'm telling an individual who has stayed in Odisha for 20 years. Right? I come from Rajasthan, studied in Haryana, stayed in Delhi and Noida. So I can genuinely compare both the places, how things work in North India, with all due respect to North Indians, because I am a North Indian. How things are there, how things are here. One more thing I can tell you, like Odisha again is not one thing. Coastal Odisha, this side, Eastern Odisha, it has more outside impact. But as you go to interior like Southern Odisha or Western Odisha, Southwest Odisha, the society is not matriarchal, but still a lot of the women have more say in the affairs of the family, affairs of the society. And Mission Shakti, one thing I'm going to tell you, again, you may think that I'm as a spokesperson, I'm talking about the government, but there's a program called Mission Shakti, which has actually empowered women in their individual spaces, as well as a community. They are much stronger today, who can talk and who can resist the harassment thing. So I would say, again, that the figures may not be very encouraging if you start the figure part, but in the reality, our state, Odisha, is much safer.
Let me ask women who work with women. And Dr. Rosalind, you work with women particularly in improving their lives, ensuring that they feel empowered. Have you come across such stories?
Yeah, first of all, good evening, Maria. Thank you, and it's a great initiative by Truecaller and News18. I'm glad to be a part of this evening today. Well, I have been working in the slums of Delhi, then Bihar, now Odisha. There are many cases. I really don't know how to start, but recently, like I'm talking about 20 days back, I met a girl. She's hardly 16 years old. She ran away with somebody and got betrayed, became pregnant. Just 16 years old, 7 months pregnant. She can't even abort. We had allowed her to stay with us in one of our center, and I had started doing counseling to her parents. What to be done? You know, there are many such cases. Somehow she's a lucky girl because she got me and my team to take care of her, and there is a new baby going to come up, and that baby is going to be adopted by another donor who is attached with my organization. We cannot just say that ladies are safe in our society. The time will come when each girl, each woman has the right to move on the roads or at their places, at their houses, or at workplace. Everywhere they should feel safe. And why they are not feeling safe. But in Odisha, of course, I have to say yes to Arun Babu because I had stayed in Delhi for about 20 years. The North Indian lifestyle in Odisha, lot of difference. Reason is there, people in Odisha are very grounded. Even if they deserve lot of respect.
You have to move.
Yeah, sorry. It's very loud. In Odisha especially, it comes to the point, how much men are giving you respect. If you compare with other states, situation is much better. Cases are very less. But we cannot say there are no cases. I'm sorry, sir. There are cases. Recently I have seen something. There are so many cases. If I'll start bringing, now we don't have time.
We will come back to you again. Sukirti, come on that point.
Police has such a bad image when panelists are scared of police.
What?
No, police doesn't have a bad image.
No.
She is talking about
police.
her experience. Because, sir, invariably, Yeah, because the nature of the discussion is such that you are a stakeholder at the level of implementation. She is someone who is experiencing it with women on ground.
I have
So-
one point,
Yes.
sir. Police, they're doing really good in the state of Odisha. I'm not saying that. Girls are hesitating. They're not able to reach out. And they're not allowed to reach out. There is a difference. Even if they are ready to speak out something, their own family members are not giving them the permission to move out and speak out. There are many other challenges.
Okay, so Kirti, as a woman who is in a leadership role, how important was your economic choices? I mean, how were they dependent on your safe spaces so that you felt safe and hence you were able to make those economic decisions?
Thank you so much. Apan samastungu namaskar. And it's a lovely question. So, safe spaces, safety. I think that is the first parameter that any of us need, be it a man, a woman, or a child, for any decision that we take. If we are not safe, we cannot just take the next step. So I mean, I'm very thankful for the men in my life, be my father, be my brother, be my husband. You know, all of them have been so supportive and they have made this space so safe for me. I believe Odisha is a very, very safe place and I'm proud to say that. And I started my journey as an entrepreneur around 12 years back with only 7 employees. And now we have more than 250 employees, most of them women. And I am here to empower more and more women because I believe financial empowerment is true sense of empowerment. So be it a job, be it a business, be it any kind of, you know, where you're having a steady income, I think that's really helpful. So there's a statistic you must know. Across the world, 48% of women are actually into economic activities. But if you compare India, it's only 24%. So, but then we are still getting there. So, you know, there is always a positive side to it. We are getting there. You forgot to also mention that I'm the national co-chairperson for the Indian Chamber of Commerce Women's Entrepreneurship Committee. So that is where, you know, recently we did a Women's Business Mela, the first of its kind in India. So where 150 stalls were put up by only women entrepreneurs, you know, starting from tribals to STSC group to people from the urban areas. So 150 women selling products and services which they are owners of. I think that is a great step towards empowerment.
Yes, those are very encouraging numbers, certainly. Pragya, safety and access is linked. And if your workspace is safe, that is when women step out of their homes. They try and almost come to terms with harassment in a different way. What is your take?
No, I absolutely agree, and you know, thank you for sort of raising different points on this panel and bringing the different aspects out. I think you're absolutely right. It's just not about the safety in the workplace. I think that a lot has changed in the last few years. You know, you have the POSH Act, you have the government stepping in, setting in policies. Also, there's a lot more awareness within the corporate sector around what can women do if they are facing harassment. I think what I would like to shine the light on is more about the logistics of it, right? Reaching your workplace. And I think that's something that women think much more about than men ever need to think about. And I think the reason why we're having this conversation is because why do we need to raise these questions? Because obviously there isn't an equal level playing field that we are being given to unlock the potential and economic value that we can create and contribute towards society. And so I think what we are trying to do here with this campaign is, of course, make digital communication safe, because that's what our mission is. But more importantly, also help women start a movement where you can also reclaim physical spaces, whether that is traveling in a metro or knowing that if you are sitting in a public space and you are being, you know, you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, you can pick up your mobile phone and open the Truecaller app and call the 112 or 181 helpline, simply informing them that yes, you're in a situation where you are feeling vulnerable. And I think, you know, I've been meeting many people in the last couple of days that I've been here in Bhubaneswar. Firstly, this is a beautiful city. I think I just want to come back here as much as I can. I love the pace of the city. But also that as I'm meeting many more government stakeholders, I think the one message that is cutting across is that they want to make sure that women in Odisha are getting educated. that it is an agenda for them to make sure that they feel safe. And I think to also the point that Jenna ji made in the previous panel, that a lot of the leaders here are also women. And that is very encouraging, because as young women, when we see other women in leadership roles, we feel encouraged and we feel like, yes, if they can do it, so can we. And I think that helps many more women. Also, it brings in a whole perspective into policy making, which makes sure that 50% of the population, which is us, are also catered in for. Because like you said, safety has to be in hygiene. It's not something that we need to demand. I think it should exist as almost a given.
Yes, and to take that thread forward, Mr. Bothra, since you're very active on Twitter, and I'm sure you get a lot of complaints or women reach out to you for help also on that platform, what is the first response that you give to them? And if a woman comes to you, or in general, all the girls out here, what would you be telling them if they have faced harassment? What is the best way forward to approach an issue of harassment, according to you, sir?
See, the first thing is this is perception. I must admit that there is a perception with many people that we will not get justice, we will not get, there will be no action. People are hesitant. I totally agree to that. But taking this opportunity, and I'm thanking you for that, I want to tell all the women here and whoever is listening, we may not be able to solve your problem totally, but we are there to hear you out. Please approach. Whenever you have any problem, we have one helpline 1930. That's cyber helpline of Odisha Police. It's pretty active. Our cyber police station is actually manned by your, what you call, I don't know, they have a lot of women actually, a lot of women there. And we have kept women deliberately because we know that the harassment cases are more with women. I'll tell you one example. The problem is not that they are not coming forward. Problem is different. It is societal, not about the police. Yes. What is they come to us, they say that we want an action, we do not want to file an FIR. We want an action, we do not want to be named. Recently, one girl, she is doing MBA from Bhubaneswar, and I think she was about to get married after 10 days, and somebody created her Instagram profile and then started harassing her or something like that. A lot of things were happening. Then she came, met one of our officers. She said that I cannot file an FIR because my marriage will be in danger. So, though I'm telling you, legally we are not authorized to take action. Trust me, we are not. But we also understand, we are also from the society, we are not outsiders. We understand the realities of the situation. And we helped her, we approached the concerned social media platform, we got it down, we got the boy also. And incidentally, he was a cousin. Can you believe it? He was a cousin, and they said, no, okay, we don't want to file an FIR. So all these kind of things, they keep happening. Taking this opportunity again, I want to tell each and everybody here, and through you everybody out there, we are here to help. That is what we are being paid for. Please approach us whenever you have any problem. And I'm telling you, we recently on December 2021, the government has opened 14 new police stations, 14 new cyber police stations across the state. So now almost every big district, every big place has a cyber police station. Please approach them. If you're not finding a solution, then as you told me that I'm active on Twitter, you are telling that my DM is open. You know that I keep my DM open. My DM is open. Though I would sincerely want you people to approach through the government channels. That's the right thing to do. But of course, whether it's a government or private, personal, we are there to help you anytime.
Rosalind, you know, the point being made by Mr. Bothra, and that was made by the girl there, and is actually highlighting the mindset. It talks about how harassment is a stigma, the conversation around it is taboo. Why? I mean, haven't we seen enough and more women suffer for all of us to realize that when it is about making allies, yes, men are important, but it is equally important to ensure that women in the family realize the sensitivities that are attached. And so tell me about your experience again. I want to know more stories from you because you will have those stories.
First of all, we need to teach our boys from this school. I mean, that should be a curriculum for them, you know. It should be a mandatory. like the way we are learning moral education from the beginning, boys should be like, they should be attached with this subject, how to respect girls and women of our society. The mindset really counts, and especially the challenges are happening in the backward areas, especially in the slum areas. If there is an incident, if a lady is being what do you say, misused by somebody, and the child is very small, psychological problem is happening. That boy, if not today, tomorrow, he is becoming the criminal. This is the real challenge of our society, which people are ignoring. And I have so many cases, not one, many cases. I have been speaking to the boys also, those who have been like speaking wrong about the girls. I try to just question them, why do you have to behave this way? When you are watching a movie or you are singing, dancing, you are happy in your own world. You are having your gang of friends, but when a girl is going, studying very well, you are not able to tolerate and giving bad comment, then chasing. And there is a case, particularly, her name is Pramodini Rahul, like somebody was chasing and she had denied that guy not to marry. Next day, that guy became so upset. It was very unfortunate. Acid was thrown on her, full bucket, and she went into coma. After that, so many years, she came, like somehow through my organization, we had a workshop, and she got recognized by the media. Our Honorable CM gave justice within 15 days. Why you all should know, this girl life got ruined of because of one guy who followed her, and that rejection was something not acceptable. He was a guy from army background, and nobody ever thought of arresting him for about 10 years. When the case got highlighted, then that girl got justice only within 15 days. And thanks to officers like Arun Babu and everyone, I think mindset to be changed. Boys should know how to respect our girls. For that, a mother should teach her boys first. Yes. I got 2 sons. I've started telling them how to give respect to girls, because there will be a particular time they'll be having their girlfriends, right? But yes, that's true. They're teenagers now. Yes. But they should know how to behave with them and with normal friends also. That's gradually this way society will get changed.
Yes. So when you're talking about inclusive societies, that's where role at multiple levels of multiple stakeholders comes in. Sukirti, tell us about the roles that mothers play or fathers play in making spaces inclusive. And also, because you're an entrepreneur, when you went ahead with your decision and you said that my workplace will be more women, what was the response like?
I think safety begins at home. So like you said, parents play an extremely, extremely important role for the future generations, how they treat any human being, be it a man or a woman. So when I started taking the step of becoming an entrepreneur, there was a huge outcry at in my family. Don't leave your job, you're secured. And when you're in business, you have to go to government offices, you have to go to the municipal corporations, you have to, chappal ghis jayega tumhara daudte daudte, because you're going to own a business. So all these things has come. But I must tell you here that women always cannot play a victim. Wo abla nari bechari wala din gaya. It's time we take things in our own hands. We prove ourselves that we are capable, right? So that is very, very important. When 15 years back, I was working in an IT company in London. So I was freshly deputed, as a program analyst, and I had my manager and other team members, and they were not very happy why was a girl brought into the team, right? And when I entered, and they were talking about a program in their own local language, which was from Karnataka, and they said, in their language, they said, ask the hudgi to do it. Ask the girl to do it. So, but they thought that I'm not capable. I was very new, I didn't know. But you know what I did? 2 days continuous, I sat and worked on it. I found my way, I solved the problem, I solved the code, and then I earned my respect. So respect has to be earned. You cannot have entitlement. So a shout out to all the women out there. Get yourself capable, get yourself skilled, and especially the mothers out there, right? So we are the next generation. We have to empower our girls and boys both to be financially independent to be respectable citizens, and of course, not to support any kind of crime.
And there, the role of apps like Truecaller becomes important, Pragya, because that earns that confidence that if she steps out, she'll be safe, and she knows how to handle it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, while we've been able to, through Truecaller, make sure that women are safe in their digital communication, because actually 90% of the 220 million users that we have, half of them being women, which is about 110 million in India, told us that they don't pick up a call unless it's identified from Truecaller. And that's simply because if you know who's calling you, you're able to take that considered decision on whether you want to take that call or not. And while we are making it safe, on phone and SMS, we also wanted to take it a step forward and say, what can we do to make sure that women are safe on the move as well? And which is why we launched the app called Guardians. And again, referring to the last panel where yes, you cannot have a police person or a special protection person with every woman in the state or in the country, but you can certainly have an app on your phone called Guardians, which can literally act as that protection for you. So please go ahead and, of course, use the app, but this is where technology is able to help you and at scale make sure that you're safe. So that when you're in these public spaces or you're traveling at night at 10 o'clock, and especially in Delhi, I think Odisha is a lot safer, but you're doing that at 10 o'clock at night, you can make sure that you have the right resources on your smartphone to make sure that you're safe. Because if you are not feeling safe, you can intimate your guardians, and you can also make sure that you can get help from local law enforcement just by a tap on your app itself. But I also want to sort of take it forward and say that, Maria, you've been traveling around the country with me as part of this campaign. And I have to agree with both Raji when he says that I think one consistent message we've got across all states is that the police is doing enough and more to be available to the public. And I must say, before this campaign, I had the same perception. The good news is we're talking about the issue, yes. But the bad news is also that it's still in 2021, we're talking about the issue. So there has to be some steps that we need to take, or some sort of radical thinking needs to happen both within society and in government machinery to make sure that at some point women are able to unlock their potential and again contribute much more to the society and the economy, because unless we are not financially empowered and independent, the brave decisions that we want to take we're not able to take because of the constraints in which we function. So yeah, I think technology plays a very important role, and we're also doing a lot of digital training. Again, leveraging on the scale that technology brings. We are running, mass trainings, and we also plan to bring those trainings to Odisha eventually, where we can do on-ground trainings around how can you stay safe and navigate around the digital world in the most safe way possible, because you have to be on the internet if you want to succeed. There is no way, and especially COVID made that real for us. More and more smartphones came into India, and many more people were either running businesses or learning, which is education. Even kids were using smartphones. So we have to make sure that people don't get scared of the internet, but actually embrace it. And if they know how they can sort of have the tips to stay safe in the internet world, many more people will embrace it. I spoke about this even in Telangana, where when we were kids and we grew up and we stepped out in the brave and braved ourselves into the bad world, we had tips that our parents told us, don't talk to strangers, don't take a sweet from someone else. And that is what we want to be able to talk about through our digital literacy campaign. If you get a message or a call from someone you don't know, don't pick it up or block it. Or even better, check on Truecaller so that you can make sure that you are taking the call from the right person. And we're also making sure that all the verified numbers, the helpline numbers, where you can pick up the phone and report crimes are easily available on your app, so that we're leveraging technology to make sure you feel safe.
Okay. Let me open the floor for questions now. Please go ahead. Let's move the mic there. Yes, please, go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isha Giri. I'm an engineering student from Odisha University of Technology and Research. And my question is that how do you acknowledge the false harassment cases that comes to these digital platforms? Because as much as it is easier for victims to reach out, it's also easier for people who are just creating misconception in the society. So how is that false harassment cases managed?
You are talking about digital cases?
So both, so especially in cyber crimes, because that's easier for people to do.
No, see, cyber, one thing good about cybercrime is that it is difficult to start, but the evidence is very pakka. You can't delete the evidence. If you have done something on cyber, some crime anybody has done, then the evidence will stay. You can't really change the evidence. So, yes, maybe somebody might threaten somebody with some kind of complaint or something, but again, to my understanding, we have not seen many cases, false harassment cases. I have not seen many cases where somebody is harassing falsely. If you are talking about 498A, this dowry case and family disputes case, that's a different thing. There are a lot of things are there which people, we have seen a lot of cases of women where they are filing the false cases against the in-laws and husband and all. But as far as digital cases are concerned, these cyber cases, I don't think we have seen many cases.
So
like
because
this.
that is also one of the reasons why the first thing that happens in the society when a woman complains is that the victim comes under scrutiny, whether the case is true or not, whether she's making a true statement or not.
Yes, that's wrong, I'm telling you. That's wrong on the part of the police officers. A lot of police officers sitting there. But I can tell you again, the cases, see, it's about the experience. If a police officer, they are also human beings. So if they feel that women are coming with false cases against in-laws, against this, that, then they have kind of doubt in their mind. But about the cyber cases, if some girl comes to us and files a report or even tells us orally that somebody is harassing her, somebody has created a false profile or morphed picture, there is no question of doubting her because she generally brings some kind of evidence along. So those cases, I don't think we are doubting anybody, rather we are telling, and I told just now, Maria told me, I'm inviting anybody or everybody, if you have any problem, please don't keep it to yourself, bring it forth, come to us, we'll do whatever best possible.
Yes. Let's take more questions, please. Anybody? Okay, there is, can we move the mic there? Ma'am, the mic is right there. The mic is required. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good evening. This is Professor Kalpana from XIM University. So we are all talking about this economic empowerment, and as I understand, economic empowerment definitely will lead to psychological empowerment. And we are also talking about the educations, the richness of economic resources or awareness which will minimize these kinds of harassment. But what about the corporate world where more than 50% of the employees or women employees are not able to report their harassment to the boss? Is it the fear of losing the job? Is it what? Really, actually, it is reported in that any kinds of, you will find the business magazine where employees, women employees are reluctant to report against their boss. And they're all economically empowered.
So, Kirti, will you take
Anyone can take this question.
Yeah, I have actually worked in a big corporate world, and I think the policies that are framed by the leadership of the company is very, very important. So in making the policies, for making the policies very transparent, a woman has to be present in the leadership role. So I think that's a big gap that we see in a lot of corporates, that in the topmost positions, we see only men, framing the policies and everything. So I believe that's a big step that needs to be taken, that in any levels of leadership in any corporates, a woman should be there and she should be accessible for the employees to approach.
I'll add here, ma'am. Ma'am, in 1997, Vishakha judgment came, Supreme Court Vishakha judgment. Many people even do not know about it even now. So that judgment says, where women employees are there, there has to be a anti-sexual harassment committee. And the committee has to be headed by a woman employee. And not only that, there has to be somebody from outside the organization who is a member of the committee. But unfortunately, many corporates are not following it. So if you are working in a corporate, if you are a woman, if not a woman, you are a man, please insist. Everybody should insist that this kind of committee must be there. You can't put things under the carpet, number one. Number two, ma'am, as we are talking about the conversation, we have seen Me Too recently. Now, when the Me Too was happening, why conversation is important, why this dialogue was important, when Me Too things were happening, nobody was talking about it. Everybody was scared. But then, after a lot of years, many years, thankfully, things started talking, people started talking, and people got punished. I am sure, if today that same person thinks of doing the same thing, he will think 10 times more. Because he knows now this lady can speak up. There will be conversation, there will be somebody to talk. So whoever is working in the corporate, this is a kind of joint responsibility. Today morning I tweeted, ma'am, that we are very active on social media. If some sexual harassment taking place on social media, then 30 people will jump. How could you talk and put such remark? But in your own office, some girl is being harassed, and you don't talk. You don't talk. Is it not bad? Not shameful. So it is a joint responsibility, combined responsibility. If something is happening in your vicinity, in your office, in your society, in your neighborhood, please speak. More we speak, less will be the problem.
I have just enough time for one more question. Please go ahead.
Good evening, all. I'm Shubhra from Exime University, and kind of have a follow-up on her question. So we do have posh cells in organizations, but many a time, since I come from a consulting background, we travel a lot with colleagues. Many a times it happens that you think that something is not okay. It's just an instinct. It's a feeling. But when you come back and report, you asked for evidence. What exactly happened? Nothing happened, but I still feel that something is not okay. So what do I do in that case? It is usually not taken forward.
First of all, we are all very strong, okay? Stand for yourself, not to depend on anybody, because even if in your company, there will be somebody who will be very biased also because of her or his position. They will never come forward to expose their name. They will always try to protect their career. And you should be, कहते हैं ना, हम लोग शेरनी जैसे हैं really. You have to behave that way. एक डर पैदा कीजिए. उसमें वो ताकत हम में है. We all ladies and girls are having that. It's been given by the God. But try to encash that at that particular moment. You don't have to wait for the Me Too campaign. बहुत सालों के बाद आप प्रेस करेंगे मेरे साथ ये हुआ मैं बेचारी थी. कोई बेचारी नहीं होता है. सबके साथ. Now she's sitting next to me. Maria. This is also an harassment. बहुत लोगों ने किया होगा. मेरे साथ Rose, Rosie, so many names. To hell with them. ये भी harassment है. Nobody has a right to speak that way, to comment that way. But कितने लोगों को समझ में आता है how to name somebody. यदि वही चीज हम लोग start करें लड़कों के against, उनको कैसा लगेगा? You know, simple line I have to complete. Raise your voice immediately. 10 people will be coming forward to support you there itself. And even if there is no one to support you, you try to approach me, my team. There is a system.
Okay. I think just want to add here just one other thing, which is actually under the POSH Act, if you read the law is actually in the favor of the women when they report such a thing. So what you said about feeling, and if you say that I get a feeling that I'm not in a safe space, or there is harassment that is being sort of exercised on me, what you say is mostly taken far more seriously than actually the perpetrator, because the proof of the burden actually lies much more on the perpetrator to prove that he is not acting in a way to make you feel uncomfortable. So I think the law is very, very fairly placed if you read about it, and I would say at least in companies like Truecaller, there is a certain agenda to make sure that there is 50% participation within the company and in leadership roles, so that women feel far more empowered and safe and also feel like they can be equals.
Yes, we have come to the end of this discussion. Ma'am, I'll give you time. Please go ahead, ask. She complained that we didn't. Yes, ma'am. Mic आ गया आपके पास फौरन. Please पूछिए सवाल.
Thank you, madam. ओडिया या हिंदी ओडिया से कही. मैडम फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं एक गोटे मदर अब तो वुमेन गोटे डिजेबल्ड छुआर भी माँ एक्चुअली मुझे शुणिली मत बहुत खुशी लगिला जे मुझे जगह को आसिक मुझे मेसेज दे पारि आ कि आडभांस आपण पाखर पाइबी जोटा कि आम डिजेबल्ड फील्ड रे मुझे पर्यटन शुणिक आम डिजेबल्ड सेक्टरटारे किसी कहीं ओपन करना मु डिजार्ट सेक्टर भी मु काम करछि किंतु आम झील मान एमती तो नॉर्मल झील मान तो हारासमेंट नहीं मैम ठीक है हम हिंदी में बोल देते हैं
नहीं मैम ठीक है सवाल इनका आपका सवाल का जवाब दे देंगी ये
आपण कोन उड़िया कोन
हां आप बोल दीजिए
काहेकि जे आम छुआ पई आम झील मान पई मोर भी गोटे झील अछि इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल्ड झील तापे आमे केमिति सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी दे परिबो जोटा कि आमे निजे थाई कि मध्य बापा माने माने डरुचंती जे मो झील का लाज लागियो काले बाहागर हे परिबनी काले सोसाइटी कोन कहि दबो माने एटा बहुत अन्याय बाप माँ भी बहुत फास्ट अन्याय करुचंती जोटा कि आम आगो को मैडम जमी कहले माने सेरेन सिंह है कि आमको आगो आसको पड़ो फाइट करा पड़ो आम राइट्स अच्छी जन्मरू आम अधिकार अच्छी सबूर किसी कहवाई कि आम सोसाइटी को डरवा कहीं जिते आम डरवा से आम अत्याचार होची से मोर रिक्वेस्ट जे आम डिजेबल्ड फील्ड रे आम केमी सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी आम पिला दे पार आमर अस्तरंग भी मैडम गोटे सिचुएसन माने एमती इवेंट होता जे ता निज भाई भौणी गोटे डिजेबल्ड भौणी उपरे रेप करिछि किंतु बापा चाहूची पुओ को सेफ्टी देवाई माने पुलिस स्टेशन जावाई भी से मना कर दौरान किंतु झील चाहूची तार न्याय किंतु यही सिचुएसन रे आमे गोटे आमर स्वाभिमान रे मु काम करुची से आमे गोटे टीम जाइथिलु तांको संगे डिस्कशन करिया पे मैडम से माने बहुत लुकायित अवस्था रखिदेले जे नाई झील मिछ कहूची डेफ झील डेफ अच्छी क्योंकि कहीं से एक्सप्रेशन करि पारुनी सी कहला जे सी किछि करूनी जानूनी एमिति भाबरे से लुचेई देले परिस्थिति माने एमिति सोसाइटी होची जोटा कि आम अंतर भी माने लुह भी आसी जाउची जे आम घरर भाई भौणी एमि जदि हबा आमे काहाकु नै कि घर करिबा सोसाइटी आमे केमिति हबा अवेयरनेसटा बहुत दरकार माने अर्बन हो रूराल हो सबू एरिया रे हमर एडवांस दरकार और खास कर हमर डिजेबल्ड सेक्टर रे एथि पे मैडम मु ए मेसेजटा दापे
जी बिल्कुल आपका मैसेज हमको समझ में नहीं आया लेकिन हमने आपके सेंटिमेंट्स को कैच कर लिया अरुण बोथरा आपको जवाब देंगे
ए जो केस आपने कहिले अस्तरंग का यार एफआईआर हेछि की
हां सर हेइथिला मत लागु कि हां एफआईआर हेछि
मु जानि नै आपन ते के हमकु पठान तो के
हां निश्चय
निश्चय पठान तो जे से जियो कहूछि मु एफआईआर देबा पई राजी अछि कि स्टेटमेंट देबा पई अछि निश्चय त किछि कथा ही नै
हां सर
संगे संगे उठाई देबा किछि असुविधा नै
थैंक यू
किंतु आपण जो कथा कहले ठीक कहले ए तो प्रॉब्लम सबू को अच्छी और डिजेबल जियो मान कर औरी बेसी अछि आई टोटली एग्री विथ दैट पक्का पक्का आपण कथा ठीक आपण कथा ठीक मैडम बुझिली आपण कथा बुझिली किंतु एठी मु गोटे चांस नै कि आपण कहूची आपण काई कि मु डिजेबल सेक्टर बोधे काम करछंती तेनु मु गोटे आपण को आग्रह करछि आपण पाखे जे प्रकार किछि खबर आसीबो आमे सबु जियो को प्रोटेक्शन देबा पई अछु किंतु जे डिजेबल झील हेले मु निजे काम करी चिंता करतु ना आपण मत कहे कम टू माय ऑफिस मु कटक रे रहूची कटक मोर ऑफिस अच्छी आपण आसंतु आपण डिजेबल झील मान से अन्याय जे अत्याचार करथिबो के लोको ताको तो छाड़ीबार प्रश्न ही नाही आपण हमु कहबे
सर 30 seconds and you translate that for us please if you could translate that conversation you had for the
I'm sorry she said that there's a disabled girl she has been raped by her own brother the family is trying to hush up the issue and the girl wants to have a legal action against the brother so I have requested her that if the case has been registered please let me know the case number if has not been registered we will send a special team there to talk to the girl if the girl is still willing see in such case anybody can file an FIR it's not that the girl can only file the FIR she can file the FIR and also I added because she is working in the disability sector I said if see we are here to protect every girl every citizen for that matter every male female whoever is a victim but in case of disabled girls I said from my side that we will be much more serious and we will ensure that anybody doing such thing to a disabled girl cannot be spared.
Absolutely, on that assurance, sir, which is the need of the hour. And this is what Network 18 and Truecaller is aiming for, these conversations. ये जो आपने उड़िया में बोला और हमें नहीं समझ में आया, लेकिन जो यहाँ के स्टेक होल्डर हैं उनको समझ में आया और उन्होंने आपको सोल्यूशन प्रॉमिस किया है. यही हम लोगों का एम है. हम लोग हर शहर में जाएंगे और इसी मैसेज के साथ जाएंगे that harassment has to end. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a great audience, and thank you Arun Bothra sir, Dr. Rosalind, Sukriti and Pragya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria, for that absolutely wonderful session, enlightenment and insight at its best. May I request Sri Danidhi Das, Senior Editor, News 18 Odia, to please join us on stage and present small tokens of gratitude to the panelists and the moderator. And thank you very much, panelists, for adding your thoughts, your experiences to this session. As they say, positivity is contagious. I'm sure these words will go a long way in inspiring every woman present here and everyone who's watching this show live to stand for themselves, to call it out, because it's not okay to harass a woman. Thank you so much. And the customary group photograph post yet another insightful session. Thank you once again, moderator. Thank you, panelists. Creating safer spaces for women will not only lead to their economic empowerment, but also contribute towards the growth of the nation. Once again, I would like to thank all panelists and the moderator. It's now time to hear from women about their tales of courage when it comes to facing and fighting harassment. I would now like to call on stage Ridhima Bhatnagar, Senior Correspondent, News 18 Network, to please join us here and moderate the next session.
Thanks a lot for that, and thank you for being such a wonderful audience. It's a pleasure being with all of you this evening and to really take on from what Maria was saying and continue these conversations, tales of courage, and what a perfect timing to be in Bhubaneswar, in Odisha, when we have Draupadi Murmu, who's of course been nominated by the NDA as the presidential candidate and could in fact become the first tribal woman President of India if elected. So we'd love to have these conversations with you. But as we said, when a woman shares her experience of facing harassment, she in fact takes the first step in ending the cycle of abuse. And this really becomes the first barrier that women today need to break, to have these safer spaces where these conversations can happen. I'd like to invite on stage Anuradha Biswal, the First Lady of Olympian of Odisha. She has been a track and field athlete who specialized in 100-meter hurdles. Please. I'd also like to invite on stage Niharika Dash, well-known actor, social media influencer, diabetic educator. She's won many awards and accolades for her work. I'd also now like to invite on stage Prakriti Mishra, an actor known for her work in Odia films and Hindi television. She's also a recipient of the National Film Award. This side, please. We'd also like to invite on stage Sohini Mishra, playback singer hailing from Odisha, having recorded songs in Odia, Hindi, and Bengali. Sohini is a powerful voice in the music industry. I'd like to thank all of you once again for taking out the time and joining us here. As we said, these conversations unfortunately happen, but they happen in close quarters. It's time we bring these conversations up in the public narrative. Unfortunately for all of us as women, this is a reality that we live with, where harassment becomes a daily routine. But the idea today is that you put out your tales of courage. You, as artists and influencers, you set an example for women who are listening to us here and our viewers who are joining us on our social media platforms as well, to have that courage, to feel that there is a space for them to have these conversations today. I'd like to first begin with you, Sohini, and I'd like to take this question to all of our panelists. As artists, as successful women, unfortunately, as I said, harassment is a reality we all deal with today. I want to just understand your experience of working in the industry. How has it been? Is it this unfortunate reality that we all live with every single day, trying to change the narrative, but unfortunately it still remains?
Thank you for the question. ऐसे harassment, sexual harassment मेरे साथ कभी हुआ नहीं है, पर मैंने सुना है, मेरे फ्रेंड्स लोगों के बारे में सुना है, और मेरे साथ हुआ नहीं है, शायद मेरे पेरेंट्स की वजह से, क्योंकि हमेशा उन लोगों को ये डर रहता है कि हमारी बच्ची बाहर जा रही है, कहीं उसके साथ कुछ गलत ना हो जाए, तो इसके लिए हमेशा मेरे साथ मेरे पेरेंट्स रहते हैं, तो मुझे भी कहीं ना कहीं ये डर रहता है। पर जब मेरी एक फ्रेंड थी, तो हाँ, जब मैं स्टेज पे जाती हूँ, जब परफॉर्म करती हूँ, ऐसे हुआ है मेरे साथ कि कहीं मिसबिहेव्स मेरे साथ हुआ है, बैड टच, ये वो, तो ये सारी चीज़ें हुए हैं। तो ये ऐसा होता है हमारे साथ, तो और हम फाइट आउट करना चाहिए, और हम लोग करते भी हैं। और कभी कभी ऐसे चीज़ें होते हैं, जब पावर की बात आ जाए, कोई पावरफुल आदमी रहते हैं पीछे, तो वो लोग अगर कुछ हरासमेंट करते हैं, तो उसके अगेंस्ट हम लोग फाइट नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो ऐसे होता है हमारे साथ।
जी, Prakriti, I would like to hear your experience as well. As we said, it's become a common routine to either receive these messages or comments on various social media platforms. What happens from there on? How do you deal with that reality every single day?
Thank you for the question, and I would really thank the entire team of News18, Truecaller, and the entire organizer for this event, and for having me here and having all these beautiful panelists here. Day to day, I mean, in the industry or outside, there's this thing about, this men, some creeps behind social media, behind their computers. They find it very funny to make fun of other people. And that's where it begins, actually. When you ignore them, they keep on poking you again and again, again and again, again and again. And if you also reply to them, they make it even worse. So should I share my story, like, if I may?
Yeah, sure.
So basically, I would like to share a story which happened, which actually got me into a lot of everywhere, actually. So I endorsed a campaign, an alcohol brand campaign, and I'm an actor as an artist. It's also a part of my job to endorse brands, and that was one of those incidents during the pandemic. So I signed up from my agency for an ad, for an alcohol ad brand, and I did the ad. I was not even holding anything. I was just sitting next to the brand campaign. And within 24 hours, I got so badly trolled all over the social media in Odisha, and people started making YouTube channels, making controversies about it and saying, so my father is a veteran music director in Odia film industry, Mr. Manmat Mishra, and he is known to be the king of bhajans as well. So they started dragging my father, my mother, my entire profession and everything, and they started jumbling it up ki, how can she promote an alcohol brand being this daughter, being somebody, so this, so that.
I think that's where the big concern is ki kuch bhi hum kar le, it's okay. What will the woman be able to do? Zyada se zyada block hi to kar degi, or probably she'll just ignore it. Niharika, I want to understand your experience. I think this is the mindset which is the biggest problem as far as these conversations are concerned, where it's become so easy for men that bol sakta hu main to kyunki koi action hoga nahi.
Thanks for the question. See, when society is orderly, then everyone is safe here. When it comes to a woman, she has to face, whether it is home, whether it is office, whether it is her shooting set, she has to face every kind of harassment, you can say. And it's up to her how she is dealing with her. Somebody, the director is calling us and scolding us that you are not performing well. If I'll say that is an harassment to me, maybe it is not, or maybe it is. So it's up to me that how I am handling the harassment. Harassment is everywhere. If society itself is in danger, society itself it is not safe, then how a woman will be safe? It is my point, I would say. So we need to take out the root. We need to create an awareness inside the society, in our home, inside us. For my safety, I will be the first person who will be responsible if something is happening to me. I cannot blame the police why they didn't come on time. Why? And then they can ask me that why you went out in the night, middle of the night. If I'm going somewhere, then it is my responsibility to inform my parents, to inform my friends that I'm going out and this is the place I'm going. So in my point of view, harassment is everywhere. And we need to be more courageous. We need to be more courageous to fight with that.
Absolutely. Anuradha ji, आप बताइए आपका experience कैसा रहा है?
Before I begin, I would like to thank News18 and Truecaller. Really, it's a very nice program regarding the harassment of women, and I am the being of the part of here. And harassment, it is my, I have faced harassment in social media. When I was created a social media account, when a person, across my account, and he started texting message, bad message. After that, I shared with my husband and my close friends. Then I immediately blocked his account. And after this harassment, I felt it's very bad, and immediately I closed the account.
But see, that's the problem, that no field today is deprived of these conversations, of these messages. Prakriti, what I want to understand from you is the biggest root today is that the minute a woman says, I've been harassed, there is victim shaming that's involved. तुमने कपड़े क्या पहने थे? तुम रात को कितने बजे बाहर गए? Did you know the people you were with? This is the root cause that needs to go, because this is the fear why half the harassment cases don't make it to the public narrative.
Absolutely, and what I was just saying, so right after that controversy and right after people started dragging my parents and me to the story, so I immediately rushed to the nearest police station, and I must give a big round of applause to the entire police department of Odisha. They immediately lodged an FIR because they started getting my parents, and I'm like, you have to troll me, or do whatever, you directly deal with me. You don't have to defame my family, my parents, because I'm doing my job, they're doing their job. You don't have to merge everything and make a story out for your own benefit. So they lodged a complaint, and everybody told me, you don't have to go and unke muh mat lago, tumhara tum alag ho. Maine bola nahi. If I am an actor, if I'm known to be a heroine, to be an actress, then it is also my job to inspire girls, to inspire all the people out there to speak about it. So I immediately rushed to the nearest police station, and I lodged an FIR. That video channel guy, that entire video just immediately went off. Everybody, those who had posted and reposted that stupid content, which was absolutely illogical, got out of the social media, got out of all the networks, all the portals. And gradually, I swear, like, I started seeing all my other colleagues promoting the same brands, and they all started doing endorsements, and they all understood like how, if I'm sponsoring a brand, that doesn't mean that I believe in it. It's my job. So if I decide to do something, it's a part of my job to endorse a brand. So you need to speak up. The problem that we face, and most of the cases that doesn't get registered, because हम लोग ये सोचते हैं कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे? अरे लोग क्या सोचेंगे? अगर ये हम सोचेंगे तो लोग क्या सोचेंगे?
I think that's a very valid point that Prakriti is making, and I think that's the biggest problem as far as the harasser is concerned as well, because उनमें भी एक ही अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि लड़की ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या ब्लॉक कर देगी. There is no fear of public shaming, and that's why today we are saying, don't just block it, but call it out. Because if you set an example once, there will be multiple other women who will learn from you. Shoini, ये messaging कितना important है send out करना कि हाँ, तुमने block कर दिया, अपनी safety पहले ensure करी, पर एक public shaming of the harasser होनी चाहिए कि कल वो दूसरी किसी लड़की के साथ ऐसा ना करे.
ये हम लोग अगर फाइट करेंगे कोई भी चीज़ों के बारे में, जैसे प्रकृति ने कहा कि उन्होंने जाकर पुलिस स्टेशन में कंप्लेन किया, तो ये एक्शन लिया गया, तो हम लोगों को बोलना चाहिए. जैसे मेरे साथ एक बार हुआ था, मैं स्टेज पे थी और कॉलेज का एक इवेंट था, तो वहाँ पे मुझे कुछ ऐसे बोले, तो मैं वहाँ पे बंद करके चली गई और ऑर्गेनाइज़र को बोली कि ऐसे करके मुझे बोल रहे हैं, कुछ अजीब सी चीज़ें बोल रहे हैं. तो उन्होंने जाकर वो स्टेप लिया, उन्होंने जो लोग ऐसे बोल रहे थे, तो वैसे चीज़ और भी मेरे फ्रेंड्स के साथ बहुत ऐसे कुछ हुआ है. मिसबिहेव्स करते हैं जब हम लोग ऑडियंस के, जब डांस नंबर्स चलते हैं इवेंट्स के दौरान, तब हम लोग ऑडियंस में एंट्री करते हैं, तो मिसबिहेव्स होते हैं हमारे साथ. तो ऐसे हुआ था मेरे फ्रेंड के साथ. तो इमिडिएटली हम लोग बोलते हैं कि नहीं ऐसे होना नहीं चाहिए।
लगता है कि ये सिर्फ एक विमेन आर्टिस्ट का प्रॉब्लम है, मेल आर्टिस्ट के साथ क्यों नहीं होता? ये एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्यों है that it will be okay to get away with? Why do you think that still continues? That why is it okay कि women artists आती हैं, उनके साथ छेड़खानी हो या comments हो? Why is that okay? Why does that still continue in the industry today?
ऐसे ये अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए कि उन लोगों को डर रहना चाहिए कि ऐसे फिर से दोबारा ना हो, तो उन लोगों के अंदर ऐसे फियर करना चाहिए कि वो फिर बाद में ऐसा ना करे। तो ये मुझे लगता है।
Okay.
तो ऐसे कुछ पनिशमेंट होना चाहिए कि इवेंट से पहले इन लोगों को अवॉर करना चाहिए कि ऐसे करना मत। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है, शायद इसीलिए होता है हमारे साथ।
एक सेंस ऑफ फियर शायद नहीं है, एक सेंस ऑफ पनिशमेंट शायद नहीं है। मे बी दैट्स व्हाई वी सी दीज केसेस कंटिन्यू।
ये हमेशा लेडीज़ के साथ नहीं होता है, एक मतलब मेल आर्टिस्ट के साथ भी होता है ये सब।
बट फ्रीक्वेंसी क्या फीमेल आर्टिस्ट के साथ ज़्यादा होती है?
ज़्यादा होता है।
हाँ, दैट्स अ कंसर्न पॉइंट। अनुराधा जी, एज एन एथलीट स्पोर्ट्स फ्रेटर्निटी में इतने टाइम आप इस इंडस्ट्री में हैं, क्या आपके साथ भी ऐसे एक्सपीरियंसेस हुए हैं जहां आपको अपना पैर रखना पड़ा हो, एक क्लियर मैसेजिंग सेंड आउट करनी पड़ी हो कि नहीं ये हरासमेंट और नहीं चलेगा? क्योंकि काफ़ी टाइम ऐसा होता है कि विमेन को एक कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करने के लिए बोला जाता है कि तुम्हारी वर्क स्पेस में तो ये चलता है, बट मेल के लिए वर्क स्पेस में इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन।
Yes, I have faced harassment in field of training, sports training. I remember when I was training under my foreign coach, Yuri Alexander, in Indian camp, one Indian coach determined pull my leg. वो बोल रहे नहीं तुम ट्रेनिंग नहीं करना चाहिए फॉरेन कोच के पास, क्योंकि उसका एथलीट आगे नहीं जा पाएगा। जैसे एकदम पिक्चर में एक दंगल पिक्चर में जैसे हुआ था, इसका पिताजी को एक जैसे कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स का टाइम में इसका दरवाज़ा बंद करके रख दिया, वो जैसे परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा नहीं दे पाएगी। वो जो गीता फोगट उस टाइम में भी उस 2010 में कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में पार्टिसिपेट किया था। तो ऐसा होता है, हैरेसमेंट होता है, बट हाउ टू ओवरकम दैट सिचुएशन, फेस टू स्ट्रांगली एंड ब्रेवली। जे ऐसा हमको होना नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि उसी टाइम माइंड सेट करना है। The immediate I had discussed with my foreign coach, and immediately he said me, okay, अनुराधा, I have no problem. You come and take training from me. तो उसी टाइम में I was happy. Yes, मेरे साथ मैं क्यों आवाज़ अपना मैंने उसको बोला, इसका डिस्कशन किया, तो इसी वजह से मैं ट्रेनिंग कर पाई। क्यों इसके बाद नेक्स्ट में नेशनल रिकॉर्ड किया, अगेन नेशनल रिकॉर्ड किया था मैं, आई थिंक 2018 एंड 14 में किया था। तो ये मैंने जब भी लड़के हमें नॉट ओनली स्पोर्ट्स।
आसान था अपना आवाज़ उठाना?
यस,
आसान था आवाज़ उठाना?
आसान था, क्योंकि स्पोर्ट्समैन जस्ट लाइक ए फाइटर लेडी, स्पोर्ट्समैन एंड ऑल अदर दैट टाइम में आपका साथ जो बुरा होता है वो आवाज़ उठाना चाहिए। क्योंकि अगर हम जैसे मेरे सोहिनी मैडम बोला, जैसे हम रह जाएंगे चुपचाप तो कुछ नहीं होगा, हमको आवाज़ देना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम इनजस्टिस होने से रेज द वॉइस, आई थिंक।
Niharika, where do you stand in this? Unfortunately, as I said, these statistics are very, very unfortunate for all of us to deal with. A survey by Truecaller, an independent survey, put out numbers which are very, very stark. It says about 1 out of 3 women face harassment on a day-to-day basis. For somebody who's a public figure, sometimes that becomes as an easy bait for harassers to target them. Do you think that's a problem and you face that in your profession?
Absolutely, because when you are into public, you are coming on TV, you are coming on theater. So people, whatever you do, whatever news come on you, they think that it is true. So media has also a vital role in this. I believe many of the women who are sitting here, if they are facing something in our industry also, if they will think about go and report, as Prakriti said, that media will suddenly jump, and media should never portray the news into a negative way, right? Because it will hurt the woman. How she will go and how she will stand for her when her news is not right, when her story is not true. For the TRP, if media is portraying the story in a negative way, if media is playing the story in a different way, So how she will go and speak out? That is also a part. Most of the women sitting silent. I have seen in my set they face harassment, but I couldn't realize in the moment like how you were sitting and these people are behaving with you like in a bad way and you are okay with it just because you are working here. If you have knowledge, if you really want to work, just quit it, go. Wherever you will go, you will face harassment. But once in a life, you need to stand for yourself.
So how do you sensitize workplaces as well, right? Because that's the fear for a lot of women, that if I raise my voice, will I lose my job? Is that the fear that continues to play out?
Correct. Yes, it is. I have seen it. I have seen women, they think like if I will say something about my boss, he will just say, just go to home. I cannot work. I will not get another job. But no, I don't believe in that. Why? Why to fight there where you are not mentally stable? How long you can work there? How long you can drag the job? You should immediately quit. If you don't want to take any action, that is fine, in my point of view. But for your mental peace, you should leave that place. And what it is, if you are going to the second job, you will not get any kind of mental harassment. You have to create yourself like that. If somebody is coming to Niharika, he should think 1,000 times to say something to Niharika, right? If I will be like that, I will be portray myself, okay, whatever my boss is saying, I'm okay with that. Then my boss will say.
Absolutely. You set your own lines, you draw those boundaries so that people know that enough is enough and this is not okay.
Yes.
But I also want to understand, Prakriti, from you, essentially the problem today is a lot of cybercrimes that are taking place. How do you make the online space safer for women? And the reason that I'm asking is because all of us today survive on social media. We survive online. Most of our work happens on the online framework. Why should I not feel safe? Why should I be made to feel that I am a lesser citizen than anybody else in this country? What can be done to make that platform and that space safer for women today?
I think in social media, though it's very, because it's very huge, the entire place, the entire digital market area is so huge that it is very, very difficult to filter the people, those who harass women, and for that matter, there are women also harassing men, but as you said, the statistics are unfortunately very different. I think there comes also a part like Truecaller, apps like Truecaller. I genuinely have my personal experiences with Truecaller that whenever I get an unknown number, we were just discussing it behind the stage that we go to the Truecaller app and then we immediately see who is this person. And then only we decide to take the call. Same likewise, I think we need to have such filter programs or maybe such kind of boundaries or some kind of technology, the apps that we use right now, the social media apps that we're using. There are a lot of features that has come up like restrict, wo. But I think girls, we need to really increase our confidence and call it out. Just call it out.
Absolutely. And I think the other big concern is that even if I want to call it out, what are my avenues? What are the helplines? Where can my voice be heard? For example, and that's why we keep repeating these, because today all these young women who've joined us in the audience, you should also know about this. If you have somebody who's disturbing you, you getting unwanted calls and messages, you've blocked it, there is also a helpline for women today. If you look at the Truecaller app, 112, 181, those numbers are readily available. You will get immediate help. But beyond those helplines, we also need to create a safer environment of trust, that women feel comfortable of getting these concerns out. Because I think the biggest concern today, Shohini, is that women feel मेरे पास support system ही नहीं है, मैं जाके बोलूँ किसको? मेरे घर में लोग support system के लिए नहीं है, बाहर लोग support system के लिए नहीं है, वो पहला कदम मैं उठाऊँ किसके साथ?
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि जब ऐसे केसेस मैंने देखा है कि मीडिया में सपोर्ट तो बहुत किया जाता है, पर ऐसे कुछ केसेस आते हैं जब कुछ पावरफुल लोग आ जाते हैं, कभी पॉलिटिकल लोग आ जाते हैं, जब इन्वॉल्वमेंट होता है उनका, अगर उनके साइड से अगर गलती हो तो वो दिखाया नहीं जाता है, कहीं पे वो दबाव आ जाता है. तो ऐसे चीज़ में हम लोगों का जैसे घर पे डिस्कशन होता है तो तब हमारे पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं नहीं, इन लोगों का साइड होना चाहिए, क्योंकि पॉलिटिकल या पावरफुल लोगों के साथ पंगा नहीं लेना चाहिए। तो उस केसेस में हम लोग कैसे कॉल आउट किए, हम लोग कैसे किसको बताएं? तो ये सबको मेरा सवाल है और मैं इस चीज़ से बाहर नहीं आ पाती हूँ। मुझे लगता है मैं हेल्पलेस हूँ इस मामले में।
नहीं, जैसे ही हमने बोला कि हेल्पलेस तो एक किसी को नहीं अपने आप को समझना चाहिए। जैसे प्रीवियस पैनल में भी बोल रहे थे, एक नैरेटिव इंडिया में सेट करा जाता है कि विमेन अबला नारी हैं, बेचारी हैं। ये नैरेटिव हमें खुद चेंज करना है, मुझे चेंज करना है, आपको चेंज करना है, ऑडियंस में जो बैठे हैं उनको चेंज करना है, बिकॉज वी नीड टू डिफाइन these conversations and these stories. But as I said, taking on from what I said as far as the support system is concerned, Niharika, the bigger concern is also how do you ensure that people within a family become our allies? The mindset change of the male members around us also needs to happen. Our brothers, our fathers, our husbands. How do you ensure that they become our support system for us to have this convenient environment to raise our voices?
Yeah. Harassment is also there in family. As in our previous discussion, I was listening that recently the movie is on some social media OTT platform. You can watch it. That one girl was being raped and her mother got to know, and her mother itself killed her due to the fear of society, because she was being touched by another person. When we are going to a mother and saying that, mother, this thing happened to me in school or college, she should support her first. And when we are going to tell our sister, if you have an elder sister, then she should support us first. There comes father and brother and anyone else. It's not like men always harass a woman. It's also about a woman can harass a woman. We cannot say like all women support all the women same time. I've seen. But we need to support, we need to create that environment that our children should come and speak out. Like these things are happening in our life. A small 8 or 9 years girl cannot come and say that she or he touched my this part. This is a very crucial time, and this is a very bold thing which we can taught our children in our house.
I think the larger issue that Niharika is suggesting is also that you need sensitivity at a very young age. You need that education. You need these conversations to happen for even kids to understand what is a good touch, what is a bad touch. And these conversations need to begin at home. अनुराधा जी, आप एक माँ भी हैं, आप कैसे इंश्योर करती हैं कि आपने अपने एक्सपीरियंस से जो सीखा है आप अपने बच्चों को सिखा सकें कि आगे जाके उनको वो तकलीफें ना हो?
I must say, being a mother, first I would teach my son how to respect the women and how to help the women in any kind of situation. First, he should know. देखिए, जैसा घर में हम सिखाते हैं, जो charity begins from home. तो घर में कोई बहन हो, भाई हो, जो जैसे रिस्पेक्ट देना चाहिए, बाहर में कोई किसका बहन भी होता है, किसका माँ भी होता है, किसका बेटी भी होता है, उसका हमें होना चाहिए जे हम अगर सोसाइटी में ऐसा करेंगे तो ये हमारे फैमिली को इफेक्ट पकड़ता है, जनता है, क्योंकि ये ऐसा करना नहीं चाहिए. तो मैं यहाँ अपना बच्चों को सिखाऊंगी जे रेस्पेक्ट द वुमेन एंड रेस्पेक्ट द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स. बस अच्छा क्या बोलते इंसान बनना चाहिए. जो अच्छा इंसान बनेगा वो अच्छा ही सोसाइटी के लिए बनेगा.
बहुत एक अच्छा लार्जर मैसेज आपने हम सबको दिया है. बट Prakriti, I actually just want to go back, and I just had this thought. You know, you were speaking to us earlier that you filed a case against a portal. But in most cases, and I've spoken to a lot of people, there is also this slight fear of backlash. That if I file a case, if I name them out, can they come back to me? They know my identity, they know my address. Can this backfire? Is that a fear that played on your mind as well?
Oh, absolutely not, because bring it on. I'm ready for anything. Because if you stress me out, I'm going to stress out into 100 times. So I'm a person like that. I would not spare anyone for that matter, because I would like to say, add on to this, my mother has been my biggest inspiration actually. So I would like to share a very big story in the shortest way possible. Me and 4 of my school girlfriends, we were in Goa. And we were just randomly taking pictures, and we were having fun in the Agoda beach. And we were also not wearing clothes that we should have wore in Goa. Despite of that, 4 uncles came and they started taking pictures. Till then, it was fine. I was like, theek hai. And then randomly, they started throwing sands on us. And when we ran to them, and when me and my 3 girlfriends, hum log unke paas gaye, and we started snatching the uncle's phone, and we saw the uncles zoomed each of our body parts, and he was clicking pictures, and that is so gross because they were all chachas and dadas ki umar ke uncle. And I immediately called my mother because we were 4 girls, and something like that had happened for the first time physically to me. So my mother said, listen, immediately go to the police and report a file. And I think that is what we all, all the mothers, all the parents should start teaching their girl childs to go and immediately go to the law, because that's the best possible way to reach out and you get the immediate help. We rushed to the police station. Unme se wo 2 uncle bhag gaye the. Ek ko to meri best friend, she jumped on him and she was like, tu idhar hi ruk. So she literally grabbed one uncle and he had to stay. We went to the police station. There also one thing happened. One police uncle was actually helping us a lot. And there was other person sitting next to him and he was like, Zarur in log ka hi kuch galti hoga. And we were like, yaar, matlab. And those uncle, unhone rakha wahan pe. They were all in the lockup because we were like, we are not feeling safe to go back to our hotel rooms right now because it was already 8 o'clock in the night. But yes, I slept so peacefully that night thinking that those creeps are inside those bars. And I think we all girls, we deserve that peace of sleep every night. So please go out, fight with the creeps, have a very peaceful sleep at night. I think I do it because I need to sleep nicely at night.
Hats off to your spirit and hats off also to the support system. It's lovely to hear that the first call was made to your mother and your mother said, I'm behind you.
She's like, go, run, go to the police station immediately and FIR kar lo. Jaake sang FIR
But Prakriti, as much as, I love to laud the efforts, not just of your courage, of your family system, but how many of us are that lucky to have that system? Because शोइनी, ये मैं आपसे भी समझना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि सबसे बड़ा कंसर्न ये भी होता है कि अगर ठीक है जाके मैंने FIR कर भी दिया, उसके बाद क्या होगा? Am I ready to drag that legal battle? Is my family ready to support me? क्या मुझे instant support मिलेगा? That is also a concern that many women face and thus they feel कि अच्छा ठीक है नहीं बोलूँगी तो शायद चल जाएगा.
ये डर सबको रहता है कि कोई जो जैसे प्रकृति ने ऐसा उनका मतलब जैसे हालत किया तो वैसा स्पिरिट सबके अंदर होना चाहिए और वैसा सपोर्ट सिस्टम भी रहना चाहिए फैमिली में. तो बहुत सारे फैमिलीज़ में देखती हूँ नहीं वो नहीं करते हैं, चलो तुम सेफ जोन में रहो, ऐसे ऐसे होता है. तो मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ कि सबको अपने बच्चों को ऐसा सिखाए कि फ़ाइट करना सिखाए, नहीं तो सोसाइटी को मैसेज ही नहीं मिलेगा, कोई डर के ही रह जाएगा. जैसे मेरे साथ भी ऐसे होता है कि पेरेंट्स लोग हमें कि नहीं रह जाओ, कुछ बोलना नहीं चाहिए, तो मैं फ़ाइट करना चाहती हूँ और किसी चीज़ में मैं उनके बात ना मान के मैं फ़ाइट की हूँ. तो ऐसे मेरे साथ जो हुआ है सबके साथ ना हो, तो मैं बोलती हूँ कि पेरेंट्स लोगों को इस बारे में बच्चों को सिखाएं और कैसे फ़ाइट करते हैं वो भी सिखाएं.
बिल्कुल बहुत ज़रूरी है ये. We'll continue this conversation, but I'd also like to open the floor for questions if there are any, because we'd love to hear from young women, their stories, their cases. We can pass the mic around if any questions, please. Please, can we have a mic, please?
A very warm evening to everyone. I'd ask to Prakriti ma'am, just because she shared a tale of courage. I want to ask you, ma'am, that you have the experience of both the fields, like in Hindi industry or also in Odia industry. I just want to ask you that you're faced more in which of these industries, or is it the tale of every artist in every field, or is it because of our narrow mindset that we people as a people or as a society have?
Thank you for your question, and I must tell something here that Odia film industry is one of the safest space I've ever worked in actually. And in the film industry, it's a misconception that everything bad only happens in film industry. That's absolutely incorrect, because I have been working since the age of 4. I was a child actor and then turned into an actor, and then I moved to Bombay. I have faced the least issues in Odia film industry. Also, I mean, obviously there are people out who will obviously try to make you feel weak, and especially with me, what happened is that if you are a woman with a big mouth, like if you speak up, that's a threat to a lot of men in the society, and but you got to keep going on. In Bombay industry, as when I did my first show on and then I did a reality show, a lot of stuff I started doing. Initially, yes, I was invited to situations which would have dragged me into major harassment, but as Niharika mentioned, that it is also up to us how we put our boundaries on. I think that's one thing that parents and the families, everyone should start conditioning and polishing their children that way, to make them understand that it's absolutely okay to say no. You can say no, and if you're talented enough, if you're confident enough, you will go, you'll reach heights, but stop taking shit from people to only feed into their I mean, there's a major problem of ego that I feel. In whichever industry you see, Hindi industry, Telugu industry, wherever you see, there are people, those who have major ego issues. So, firstly, we girls need to stop feeding onto them. So that's where it all ends, I feel. We need to stop taking shit from people, and we need to really, really call it out and say no. I mean, would you want to come to this place after the shoot is done? No, I don't want to. If you want to talk, if you want to hang out with me on sets. And I usually do that. That's why I have huge, lucky to have amazing friends in life. But yes, I have also faced a lot of weird situations. But yes, I've had my boundaries very nicely set up. So I think I would like to give you a suggestion that whenever you work somewhere, make sure that you call it out when you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, and have your limitations and boundaries, like
you set those boundaries for yourself so that people know that iske saath ye nahi chalega. I'll take one quick question and then I'll go for closing comments. Can we please pass the mic?
Good evening to the esteemed panel. I'm Jatyasha Mahanti from Odisha University of Technology and Research. In this era of social media, a certain group of teenagers seek validation online from strangers, and when this validation turns into troll, they drag themselves into a negative mental space and are no longer proud of their identity. So I would like to ask Prakriti Mishra ma'am and Niharika Dash ma'am, to what would they like to suggest these teenagers on how to overcome these barriers?
Would you like to take that?
Can you come again? I need to understand your question.
In this era of social media, certain teenager groups seek online validation from certain strangers, like on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. But when this validation turns into criticism, they are not able to take it and get themselves into a very negative mental space, and are no longer proud of their own identity. So what will you suggest them on how to overcome it?
Okay, it's a very funny and good question. See, when we are in our teenage, we're not able to use Instagram or any social media platform. But now technology and everything is so vast. 4-year child, 3 years child, 5 years, they're using, everyone has social media. And unnecessarily they are posting any contents, and they're being called as some names. The specific name for them, I'm seeing it on social media. But first of all, as I said, it's up to you. Why to drag problem for yourself and blame other? People are here to criticize you. People are here to give you mental stress. That will come free for you, right? And it is when you are just sitting somewhere and putting unnecessary things, and you are giving a chance to people to criticize you, you will be the person to take the criticism, right? If you are not able to do that, then why are you just going to the social media and putting unnecessary stuff there? Limit yourself. Focus on those fields. Those are really important for you. Social media is not that much important. When you come to a point, you think that social media is important for you, you should be there, you should put the good content there, then do it. No one will criticize you. No one.
Well said. I'll just take closing comments now. Shoini, as I said, we've all understood the problems. We want to understand the solutions, the changes that are required to make not just our workplaces, our homes, our existence a lot more safer. What can be done?
फिर से दोबारा बोल सकते
मैं से भी जानना चाहती थी कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं आगे जाते समय, कैसे हम एक सेफर वर्क प्लेस बनाएं, कैसे हम अपने घरों को सेफ बनाएं, क्या चेंजेस की आज रिक्वायरमेंट है?
जैसे मतलब अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए, सबके अंदर अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए, और कोई भी चीज़ दबा के रहना नहीं चाहिए, फाइट आउट करना चाहिए, बस यही बोलूँगी।
Prakriti?
I think we all need to have fun with our life and not take it too seriously. That's where I think we can sort a lot of problem. Because as her question was about validation, that we have become a generation of always seeking validation कि ये मुझे क्या बोल रहा है, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that. So ये सब चीज़ों से ना अपने आप के साथ I think the self love is very very important, that you need to first look at yourself in the mirror and say I am the boss. I think that's where everything changes. And also when a woman speaks up, that creates a lot of uncomfortable ambience. So that one culture that we need to start, and we need to end. अभी क्या घर पे जैसे कोई बच्ची हंसती है, like I used to laugh like I laugh very loud. So one of my auntie, she was like, कितने जोर है हंसुची, मतलब कितना जोर से बात कर रही है, हंस रही है,
की तरह से हंसो।
हाँ, थोड़ी लड़की की तरह हंसो। मतलब मैं ऐसी हंसती हूँ, and I am forever gonna laugh like this. If you have a problem, close your goddamn ears. So I think this is the entire culture and the conditioning that we need to change in the families, in the workspace, to speak. Not unnecessarily speak, but when there's something wrong happening to your colleagues, to your friends or whoever, just make sure you speak it. Because सब लोगों को ना पब्लिक में बहुत डर लगता है, जो गलत होता है ना उसको पब्लिक में बहुत डर लगता है।
I think बहुत crucial point प्रकृति बोल रही है, don't just speak up for yourselves, but speak up for women around you as well. That support system is also needed. Anuradha ji?
One thing I'll share. Nowadays, women are so powerful and strongly. They have supported by media. You people are media strongly behind the women in any kind of situation. And I just share with my daughter is sitting there, Anshika. मैं इसको बोलती हूँ हमेशा, जब भी तुम्हारे साथ कोई injustice हो, चाहे स्कूल में हो, अभी कॉलेज में हो, बाहर में हो, कहीं भी हो, तुम आप घर में आके मुझे बताना। कि यहाँ पे उनका कॉलेज स्कूल इंटरनेशनल का सब आए हैं जो डिफरेंस कॉलेज स्कूल से, ये मैं बताती हूँ जो हम लोग का सिचुएशन जो सोसाइटी में हरासमेंट होता है कि अभी कोई डाउरी सिस्टम लगा, अभी कोई सुसाइड कर देते हैं, ये एकदम नहीं करना चाहिए। आप रेज योर वॉइस कि आप वुमेन इतना स्ट्रांगली आप रिपोर्ट पुलिस में करना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये सब करने से हम शट आउट हो रखते हैं। हम कोई किसको बोला हमने कोई हमने रिस्पेक्ट चला जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। इमीडिएट रिपोर्ट करने से ये हमारा हरासमेंट शट आउट हो जाएगा। थैंक यू।
Niharika, closing comments from you. What are these big changes that we need to ensure that our spaces around us are safe?
Yeah, it's a chain actually. We need the support from our family. We need the support from the police. We need the support from ourselves. And we need the support from all the women sitting here and all over the world. If we all together can come out and stand together, then we can fight out. And you have to show your courage and you have to speak out. And if someone is not speaking also, she is also doing a crime. You need to make her understand that what she is going through, and you need to give her the courage. Not only saying that, अरे ये तुम्हारे साथ हो रहा है, तुम कितनी दुखी हो, क्या होगा अगर लोग जान लेंगे. Not like that. That is also a kind of harassment. You cannot say being a girl. So all together, if you will come together, we can make a safe world for a woman.
Absolutely. On that note, I'll wrap this discussion up. I'd like to thank all of you for being a wonderful audience, and of course these brilliant, independent, strong women who've given you enough as far as their tales of courage are concerned. From us, now it's up to you. It's not okay. Do call it out.
Call it out, guys. Call it out to Truecaller. You owe me money.
Thank you so much, ladies, for speaking out. That was indeed an enlightening session. May I request Pragya from Truecaller family to please join us on stage and present small tokens of love to these wonderful ladies. Those were tales of struggle, reluctance, and finally doing the right thing. And I think these stories will go a long way in telling all other women to stand for themselves, to call it out, because it's not okay to harass a woman. And thank you very much, Ridhima, for being the most befitting moderator for this session. That was truly wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pragya, for doing the honor. It is indeed sad and ironic that in a land that preaches Jatra Narjestu Pujyante Ramante Tatra Devata, the land where women are worshipped, resides the gods. In a land like that, we have to deal with issues like harassment every other day. That's because people who are harassing us are not really strangers. They know us, they live around us, and they are very confident we will not speak. We will refrain from complaining, however uncomfortable it might become. Let's prove them wrong. That's where News 18 Network family, Truecaller family asks you to call it out because it is not okay to harass a woman. On that powerful note, we come to the end of News 18 Network and Truecaller's Call It Out Odisha Town Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to stand united against harassment. Remember, it's not okay to harass women. And it's not okay for anyone to ignore harassment either. You can report harassment by dialing 112 or 181. Or visiting cybercrime.gov.in. If you want to learn how to tackle harassment, log on to itsnotok.in and take the True Cyber Safe curriculum. Join the fight against harassment, call it out because it's not okay. I would like to thank all the dignitaries, honorable ministers, policymakers, and law enforcers, social activists, influencers, celebrities, and other leading voices from diverse fields who have joined our fight against harassment. And thank you, everyone, for being such a wonderful audience. I'll request everyone to please join us for dinner. Thank you. Namaskar.